2, 1. We're live. Hey guys, welcome to the 6th episode of GuardianCast. Unfortunately, Huffy couldn't be with us this week. Last minute obligation he had to take care of at work, and it's a shame because he really would have wanted to be here. But we do have a special guest this week, Godin Gaming. What's going on, man?
What up?
Yeah. So this is Godin Gaming. He plays some Destiny. You can briefly do an intro of yourself there.
Sure. So I'm Godin Gaming. Some people say it as God in Gaming, which I didn't think of when I made the name. So it's kind of slightly disappointing, but that's what that is. I played a bunch of Destiny 1 when it came out. I actually didn't have a console or like any video games during that time. But then like I played Destiny and my buddy was like, oh my god, I need to play this. So I like bought a PS4 and like started playing Destiny and played all through Destiny 1 like crazy, my only game, and then Destiny 2 came out and kind of this is where we're at. But yeah, mostly just some shooters like Halo and stuff before, but then I like quit from gaming and then got to Destiny 1.
Sweet. Alright, so we have a lot to talk about this week, guys. We're really just going to jump right into it. Let's start out with Iron Banner this week. What do you guys think? Have you been having fun with it? I know that not really much has changed. There's 3 new weapons, etc.
No, not really much has changed. I just think that like a 4v4 is fine. Like it feels better. Like I prefer Clash as an Iron Banner mode anyway. Control was last time was just like so aggravating because so many people play Control differently.
Mm-hmm. You mean
Clash is like a much better mode to I think to showcase Iron Banner.
Like I think it's fine. It's just just feels like quick play to me. Like it doesn't really change much. I still don't like the token system in general. So like that, I don't know, feels weird to me. Also to save up to get the guns as opposed to like trying to rank up and get it just feels weird because like it's 60 tokens, which is like a lot. So instead of like getting drops throughout playing Iron Banner, I have to wait like 4 hours to actually get the thing I want, which is just kind of weird. But other than that, it's fine. Like it's Iron Banner.
It's true. I'd say I do prefer Control, honestly, but Clash is fine. I don't have an issue with it. It's not Supremacy, so that's good. I did want to bring up one thing about Iron Banner. The weapons are terrible. The auto rifle, the auto rifle's like pretty good. It's okay.
It's okay.
The pulse is in the worst archetype of pulses. It's a very slow firing pulse. And then the grenade launcher, it's like they made this thing blindfolded because it has a perk on it that says you can blind your enemies, but at the cost of 90% of the blast radius of the grenade. So I don't understand what they were thinking when they put that perk system together, but it's a piece of garbage. So
yeah, agreed.
But other than that, I've been having a blast with it. I actually got, you know, on the burnout map, I got 2 lights out medals with a tether. So it's like something is messed up. I don't know what's going on.
I was like, this is broken.
Yeah,
like, clearly hacker streamer perks,
right,
or something.
Right. But that's pretty much it for Iron Banner. I won't spend too much time on it. Speaking of Iron Banner, the next one is going to be 6v6. So we'll still be in Season 2, but the next one will be 6v6. And along with that patch in March 27th, we're also going to get Rumble and Mayhem as a rotating playlist, and apparently they fixed the Nova Bomb glitch, so Mayhem will be a lot more fun. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about with this patch, guys. There is sandbox changes in this week at Bungie, and we can just go right into that. They said, looking at the feedback, it was clear that the community felt there was 2 key areas for improvement with the Crucible: time to kill, team shooting. So we set our sights on reworking systems, mechanics, values to tackle those 2 areas. So the first 2 things that they're doing, or few things that they're doing, is this. So they're not directly addressing the time to kill right off the bat by just making the weapons kill faster. It looks like what they're going to do is mess with the respawns, revives. So we're going to have faster respawns, to be specific. Player respawn timers. I'm just going to take these in like clusters and then we can talk about them. Player respawn timers for all quick play modes have been reduced to 2 seconds. Respawn timers for survival have been reduced to 7 seconds. Revive, lockout time, and countdown has been reduced to 7 seconds. No longer lose revive tokens on death. So, what do you guys think about the respawn revive stuff? It's quicker. I mean, it's going to be more fast-paced.
I mean, I like the idea of people respawning quicker, especially if, like, we have more power ammo and stuff. Like, it's going to be annoying to get killed a lot, and you have to wait a long time, so it's perfect to just, like, not have to wait as long. But, go ahead.
You're like, you know, they don't have kill cam in this game, and so, like, who kills you is I mean, you're not going to sit there and watch kill cam anyway. And I think in Call of Duty, it's kind of right around there as well, like 2 seconds.
I did want to say about the not losing the token on death, though. I don't know how I feel about that. Just because it's nice to put pressure on a team, like, you know, they only have one person left, that it doesn't become like, I don't know, like a 4v4 again, if that makes sense.
Or just
like,
res spamming, right?
Yeah, like I like that idea of just like, oh, you're down to a few people, like, oh, we can only get one res, so it's 2v2 or 1v2 or whatever. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's not like a huge make or break or anything, but I don't know that it's needed.
Well,
I guess.
I have a couple concerns about the revive token thing. I think that in general it's gonna be good. Like, I miss like the res sniping mechanic from elimination and stuff like that. And I think like 7 seconds is a long enough time that it can make it okay. You know, it's not gonna be like res after res after res after res. But the only thing that I would say is, like, they are probably gonna have to take a look at these game modes. Like, survival already plays pretty long. They had to adjust it once, and by having more reses, or well, there's not going to be reses in survival.
Yeah,
well, there's not going to be reses in survival.
So it'll just be countdown. Countdown's 6 rounds. So I just don't want to see that going like 20 minutes plus.
Yeah, and to the point of having to wait to res, if everyone is dead and you're only one person left, you could res the first guy, then he reses all of them in quick succession. So it could quickly be like a 1v4 back to a 4v4.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about that yet.
We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Next thing is power ammo. Short answer, we're getting a lot more of it. Power ammo, respawn timers, and Iron Banner reduced 50%. In quick play, reduced 30%. In survival, reduced 40%. In countdown, reduced 25%. Now, I'll just take a couple more points with that in conjunction. They are adjusting the ammo counts in relation to these timers. It's going to be weapon specific. So almost every weapon is getting an ammo stat buff except for swords and rockets. Huffy would be really happy to hear about the rockets thing. I mean,
yeah, seriously.
They have to, it has to be one rocket, right? That's the only possibility.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's not, I mean, on the Wardcliff is still one rocket, right?
Yeah.
But like now all of the rockets are going to be in that same.
You only get half of a rocket in there. So
you get half the burst of that. Yeah.
So the Wardcliff is going to become the most used rocket launcher in the game then.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right now it's already at 1-1 and it's not going to get a nerf. I mean, you're not going to be like, oh well, I picked up power and I got no power.
You have to use an exotic though.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, like, it'll be nice that you feel incentivized to actually use an exotic. Like,
yeah, which is perhaps the point.
And there is a trade-off to that weapon, even besides the ammo. If like even one of those little clusters hits the environment near you, it's still a suicide.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of that. Yeah.
But if one of them hit, like just like graze a person, they're dead too.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good change overall. Like one rocket, finally. Like what they're doing.
Yeah.
I would be happy if honestly rockets didn't exist in the PvP, but if they're gonna be there, just give them one only.
So the thing about swords, I don't necessarily understand. I don't think swords are very good, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Eight rounds though.
Yeah.
Yeah. They account for the large amount of kills in the power slot.
So this sounds like a data point that is
like first or second.
I think this sounds like a data point that has to do with like skill, and I think that you probably don't see that in like the higher skill tiers, you're probably not seeing a lot of sword kills. I would venture
I think
to
you're right.
say.
I think the reason why they had it at 8 is because they realized people weren't very good with the sword,
Right.
and so they were like, "Well, give them a little bit of extra things so they can actually get the kills." But now they're finding out that people are actually getting more proficient with the sword, so they're like, "Well, maybe we need to dial that back."
Well,
Like if swords wasn't brought down, you would only see swords.
Yeah.
you think so? Because like the way I see it, if I know somebody has a sword, because it announces it, you know, you can see they picked up a sword. The only way they get kills is by like hiding around the corner. Like they can't close the gap on you with that thing. It's not really like a shotgun. You know what I mean? Like a shotgun seems superior to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. But also, they can just get easily lost in the shuffle. So if you're like in a little engagement and like you're ADSing, like you could easily just like lose track of which one has the sword and.
Right.
Or you could just.
I think that like swords are already a bad option for anyone who's like pretty good at the game in PvP, and this is just going to be nail in the coffin. I think. I don't think there's any reason to use swords at all.
But I don't know. I don't really mind it. Like it's just a fun thing to use. Like, do we really need it?
People are still going to use it
like,
because it's gonna have 4 in the ammo slot, so people are still going to use it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, meanwhile, Acreus will still have 4. So.
Yeah, I still don't get that. Like,
yeah.
In my mind, it should have like 2.
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Well, it is an exotic, but you know.
Yeah. But just I don't know. Just in its kill potential, like it's super high compared to all the other shotguns.
I literally killed 3 people in one shot with an Acreus.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't
ridiculous.
do that with a sword. On top of that,
Actually,
though, to come.
You can with the controller, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you can aim. You can
With
aim
one
the
swipe?
blade. Yeah, you can aim the swipes,
Well,
the direction.
They're like the R2 one with the Titan. Doesn't that do like an AoE?
Well, it's like an uppercut, right? Will that really?
No,
like,
it's
AoE?
The smash one. The skull. What
okay.
Crown splitter.
I
or
got
something?
you.
I don't know.
But that'll use more ammo to use that.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not even sure if it does, but yeah.
But also,
but you have 8.
Something to keep in mind with this is that players are going to be dropping power bricks if they die with power now, like they used to in Destiny 1. So basically, like, even though you only get 1 rocket, you're going to be getting more rockets because the heavy's coming in more, and they're going to be dropping power bricks.
The one question I have about that is whether or not the power brick will be giving you a full power, or will it be giving you depending upon how. So like if you kill somebody with 1 rocket left or like 1 sword left, are you gonna get a full restock on your so you're a shotgun, you're an Acreus against the sword and you win, are you gonna get a refilled Acreus?
Not refilled. I think
so,
it'll
no.
probably be a percentage.
If anything, I think it would be like they did in like Mayhem and Destiny 1, where like if you're too low on ammo, it just like doesn't drop the brick.
Yeah.
I think. And then if you're like halfway down, it'll give the other guy like half.
I think it was like 30 or 50%. I can't remember exactly.
I don't know,
but it was less. But it was
I hope
still
it's like that.
It was a problem in Destiny 1 because like power was so frequent and there was so much ammo that like if you had something like a machine gun, then basically you could have heavy the entire game. You never ran out.
Yeah.
It was kind of nuts. So hopefully we don't run into that problem, but I think it'll be okay because it's pretty infrequent right now.
Yeah. Another thing I was curious about is like, do they have to reload? And I think they don't, from what the video was. Like, they don't have to reload the power when they pick it up off a dead body.
Well, what they do have to do, and I'll show this in the video later, is they have to hold X to pick it up now. It's not just walking over it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's still an action, so that would be
Yeah.
the same thing as you or a square, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's X. Okay,
And
so
there's
that'd
a
be
timer
square
on it.
or E.
It disappears. There's a little timer that goes around the heavy ammo brick, so it doesn't stay there very long.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. I was like nervous that it would just like you go over it and it automatically reloads it.
Yeah, it'd be like you're running through a sword and you're like, oh sweet, another 4 rounds of my Acreus.
And on
Yeah, like,
PC,
that'd be
you could be
ridiculous.
running like full speed. You have your Acreus, you flip around, just shotgun the guy, go back to running full speed in the other direction.
It's ridiculous. No, I like that though. That sounds awesome.
Sweet. So that's pretty much it for that. So after that, Josh Hammer
But
came
what
in.
about competitive?
Yeah.
What about competitive?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Josh Hammer came in to talk about competitive. This is going to be probably the most contentious point about the whole thing. So he says their goals were to reduce team clumping, reward individual plays, incentivize flanks. Starting in 1.1.4, which is the March 27th update, we've opted to remove the tracker, which means the radar, according to everybody. Which is
Yeah, the tracker is the radar.
I
Yeah,
don't know why they call it the tracker, but
because they can't call it radar because they call it radar in Halo.
oh my god. But so they're removing the radar from all competitive and trials modes. We'll see. I think it'll be interesting. Everyone's talking about spooky trials. It was a negative experience because everyone ran around with shotguns. That's all they did. They just ran around with shotguns. Power ammo is obviously not as abundant as special ammo was at that time. And I want to keep something else in mind. Inferno is something everybody forgets about. Inferno was a rotating game mode in Destiny 1, and I really don't think it was that bad. It wasn't as bad as Spooky Trials.
I loved Inferno.
Yeah.
I thought it was like one of the better playlists. If you were playing with the team.
Right.
If you're playing solo, it's not a fun experience.
Yeah.
So.
Well, but
Inferno was a competitive mode.
Yeah.
What was a?
It was a rotating playlist.
Rotating one, yeah.
And it had no radar, and was there any other quirks to that? It had like no heavy ammo, right? No heavy ammo.
I think. I couldn't.
You didn't spawn. You didn't spawn with special. It was the only one where you didn't spawn with special. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. That sounds right. Yeah. But as far as the radar or the tracker, I'm pretty happy with it. Kind of leaving. Me and my friends, every time we play trials or competitive, we're just like this would play so much better if just the tracker didn't exist, because the flanks are so long that there's just no benefit to going all the way around and, oh look, they can still see you on radar anyway, and they just turn on you and you're dead in like a second anyway. So also, I've been playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, and that doesn't have radar, and it still makes it a good experience. Like those two different games, but like it's still a good experience to just have your friends to call out, oh, they're on that side, they're on that side.
Yeah, as long as everybody knows, it'll be fine. And that's part of like learning the game too. So if you're playing in the competitive modes, there is now a difference between high intensity and low intensity.
Well, I think it makes a big difference in terms of like the call outs will be that much more important, which is good. But I do see the devil's advocate. What a lot of people have been saying is it will just basically take that skill away of being able to be good at reading your radar and, you know, manipulating people in that way. So it takes that skill aspect out of it.
But it adds a different skill though, which is just
it adds depth but it does mess with some things, right? It messes with the hunter's smoke grenade.
Yeah, but here's
because it's not nearly as valuable.
I had a good point about that though. It's just that if anything, it makes it that much better because you can now put it on a choke point, and you can hear it go off if somebody goes behind you. Same thing with like a trip mine or even a barrier. You can actually hear someone go through the barrier or try to smash through it. So there are new things or new uses for those types of things.
Yeah, and I mean the radar, like everybody wanted to see it toned back anyway, so seeing it completely gone will be kind of a breath of fresh air. Breath of fresh air.
Breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Breath of fresh air.
Exo, earlier where we were playing quick play, you actually said that you would like to see it reduced in quick play, just the radius of the tracker, right?
Well, yeah. So the radius, I've been talking about that for weeks. You know, the radius of like the upper echelon and like the distance at which I can see you is way too high.
Yeah.
In Crucible, I can see you coming around the corner from, if I'm on rugs in Midtown, I can see you from B.
Yeah.
Basically, and I shouldn't be able to do that.
I would say before you do that though, let's see how the mobility changes affect quick play, because if you're able to close the gap really quickly,
I think that's why they're waiting.
Yeah.
So I did have one more point about just trial specifically. It still, like, not only does it not make it better in terms of like the population, I think it'll make it worse, because like new people will probably not want to go into trials anymore, just because.
Oh, because they're just flocking in there right now.
Yeah, like it's bad enough right now because they're always like getting smashed and there's no incentive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now there's just like, oh, by the way, there's no radar. That thing that helps you out a lot that you probably use. Yeah, that's not there anymore, dude.
Honestly, I don't think it'll make any difference for them. With the player population being so low, like they're already getting destroyed anyway. You know, I don't think.
Yeah.
it'll
No,
be
no, I just mean that
measurable.
they won't even start to go in.
Ah.
Like, it's another barrier for them to be like, no, I don't want to do that. Like,
You never know though. Like
you never know, yeah.
Like Halo 2 and Halo 3 had that game mode SWAT. It had no radar, and it was like a one-shot kill if you shot him in the head, two-shot if you shot him in the body with and everybody had battle rifles. It was a really fun game mode, and it kind of just made it like interesting. You know, like it wasn't super competitive. It was just like, hey, I kind of can go in here and play something different. It's pretty fun. So maybe it'll be similar to that.
Rex, how do you feel about bringing up questions as they happen instead of like just worrying about it? You know, kind of, because like somebody might come up with a question like right now and
yeah. So we can do that a little bit. I don't want to get like too bogged
crazy
down
with it.
Yeah, but but one good point that somebody brought up is that the audio cues. Michael brought up the audio cues and said that the audio cues will be more important. They should probably make them louder,
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
like footsteps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Siege does that a lot. Like, if you play with music while you're playing Siege, like, you're screwed because you're just not hearing the footsteps.
which is
people
me.
breaking stuff.
I always
like,
play with music. I don't know, like
Yeah.
if I'll ever want to change that, honestly, because it just makes it too monotonous to have to focus on audio.
yeah. That'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Did you have a question in chat that you wanted to bring
Oh
up?
no, I just had people asking, you know, why they couldn't ask questions during the.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be here for 6 hours if we go through too many of them. But,
Well, no, but I mean, like if they
it's
have a
particularly
question,
relevant, then yes.
they're not going
Yeah.
to be. They said power ammo got a complete nerf in PvP. How do we think? Do we think that that's a good thing if it, you know, if the power ammo gets a complete nerf? And I don't know. I think that it does, because they're increasing the amount of times that it's spawning to adjust for it. So.
Mhm.
Like, what? They're only nerfing a couple, though, right? Like, it's just swords and rockets?
Well, so like the respawn times of the power ammo though is why that's getting the nerf. It's not. It's because the respawn timers are actually getting reduced. Like overall.
Yeah, but I'm just like, it's not that big a nerf, is kind of what I'm saying. Like, overall power is, like, getting a huge buff in terms of, like, how much you get to use it.
Right. So.
You only.
Maybe Acreus gets 8. Who knows?
Oh, get out of here.
God.
Oh. And then you're just like getting more every time you kill somebody. They had heavy too. I got another 4 in here.
Oh my God.
Right.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, that's gonna, like, until we see how it plays, I can't really say if it's gonna be good or bad. But if it's bad, hopefully they can just quickly reverse it. If it's good, then more power to them for trying something bold. I
Yeah.
give them credit for this.
When's the next update after this one?
May.
Yeah, so
No, like, but if it's really bad,
Yeah.
they would have to like fix it. Honestly.
yeah.
Before.
I don't
then.
think they will. I think they'll try to let it settle just like they usually do.
Yeah. I mean, I guess how much worse can it get with like no one playing trials?
Yeah.
So moving on to the actual sandbox changes here. Let's see. Okay, so mobility. Basically, the 3 glides, catapult, and strafe lift are going to be buffed. Mobility stat range has been expanded and completely retuned. We'll have to see what that means exactly. The footage
Yeah.
I've seen looks pretty good, but I don't fully understand what that means. But they say, in short, everyone gets faster and the high end is higher. So top sprint speed, I guess, will be higher. Maybe you'll be able to jump higher or further, that kind of stuff. The player's ground speed cap has been increased, allowing for faster total movement speed regardless of how you may get there. This is the second time they've phrased it that way, regardless of how you may get there. I guess they mean whether you're gliding through the air or sprinting.
No, so it talks about sprint speed, and I think it just means like whether you're using Mida and like that Arc Staff perk or like the Hunter perk with the Nightstalker. or whatever, or with like what are those boots?
Stompies.
Stompies, yeah. Like
I got you.
They just want everybody to know that even after their perks, they're still going to be faster yet.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
After all the perks, like you're good. You're going to be even better than what you were before. So like if somebody says, well, if I use the Mida and Mini tool, am I going to get like a nerf because of it? And they're basically saying, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm excited for the mobility thing. I think that the 944 build that I'm using is going to be ridiculous.
yeah.
It's going to be ridiculous.
Dude, why not 10, man? What's
well, I don't know. The way Huffy explained it to me is that at 9 is when you can make the vast majority of jumps in the game in Crucible without having to jump again. So 10 is just overkill. You know, it's not really necessary.
But I think they're making it so that like when you get to 10, you get like certain perks.
Okay.
I thought that's how that worked.
We'll have to do play testing.
Yeah.
You unlock
Fallout plays. If you're listening, I expect a full analysis on my desk by Monday on this.
Yeah,
so
overall though, like I'm loving to go faster because it's so slow. Like when you're just trying to strafe or just like move around a corner. Like,
well, so one of the mechanics that this actually benefits is the team shotting thing. So if you're being team shot from two people who are standing, not only are they not going to do that because it doesn't make sense to. The idea that they're going to be looking down a lane now with two people waiting to shoot you, you're able now to move away from them even if there is two people shooting because your mobility is increased, or it's supposed to be increased, right? So if you do get into that situation, you won't die because of it as long as you can get out of there quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Because you will die instantly right now if you're team shot like in a like
yeah, it's pretty bad.
All right, so Arc Strider. Arc Strider's getting a lot of buffs.
Sentinel and Striker are moving faster.
Yep.
And Arc Strider as well.
Well,
so, like,
yeah. So these three will be moving faster in their super. They're saying Arc Strider, Sentinel, and Striker have just faster base movement speed.
Well, and they all move at the same speed.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So if you like Sentinel or if you like Striker, they're going to be moving a ton faster. And if you didn't like Arc Strider, maybe give it a shot because it's got some other stuff.
They're all moving at the same base speed. But what I'm wondering is if you have mobility cranked up, is that going to affect your super?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think like the way it was worded was just that like they all get this top speed.
Okay.
So supers are like the great
understand.
equalizer.
Yeah.
So when you go to it, it doesn't make sense for someone to have an advantage in their super because...
And it's just harder to keep track of. You're like trying to shoot them and you're like, this, you know, Sentinel's different than the last one I tried to kill. It just doesn't feel the same. You know, it wouldn't feel good.
So the way it's worded makes it seem like, yeah, they all run the same speed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good. I'm kind of weirded out that Stormcaller is not in there. If only because of like the bottom tree, you don't get the blink. Like the top tree, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Because they have the blink.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't need it. Like I feel like maybe they're doing all right anyway.
I guess they're thinking chain lightning, you know, is just good enough.
Oh yeah, that goes really far. Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. But I just think like Storm will be screwed against another super if it's not the top tree.
Right. Well, if you don't use the top tree, then you're basically trying to use landfall to kill one or two enemies right at the beginning anyway.
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I mean, you could be right. It could, and you also get the better neutral game in that other tree where you get the arc buddy and everything.
Yeah. No, it's a good trade-off. You're right. So like the faster attack animations, faster dodge animations, I think that's awesome, and it running faster.
And increased range. So like,
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, on
yeah.
PC,
so what they're mentioning
on PC
is the Arc
with that
Strider
field of
is,
view, it's gonna feel like you're getting mapped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what they're talking about is Arc Strider as a whole is just the following changes were faster attack animations, faster dodge, and increasing the range of all the attacks on the Arc Strider specifically.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why, you know, I said, hey, you know, I might want to give it a look, see what happens. all those are really, really, really good.
I don't know that the increase in the range is needed, especially since He's getting faster dodge and attack animations.
Mm-hmm.
I just want Blade Dancer, you know, back to where it was. No, Arc Strider should be that though. It should be like the kind of like the go-to PvP spec, but it's not right now.
Well, it's gonna honestly, I think with this, it's gonna be the best subclass in the game. It's gonna have such a strong neutral game. It's gonna have such a strong super.
There's another contender, but we'll get to it. That's later on. Yeah.
Um,
Overall, I think it's awesome. I'm slightly worried about the attack range, but I don't think it'll be that big a deal.
Oh, also, this faster dodge animation, if you use that dragon's shadow thing as it is right now, you can already close the gap on anybody. So if you're going to be like flying across the map with dodges, you know? I mean, it's going to be nuts. We'll see. So shoulder charge is being reverted. They talked about this already before. It's just going back to the way it was before.
Wait, before we do that, going on, I'm surprised they didn't increase the damage.
Of what?
Of the arc staff, because can't smash just kill them in one hit?
Or smash negates a lot of things from like you're talking about the striker.
Yeah, but it lasts longer. So like in PvE, I think Arc Strider is already the best boss damage if you don't get killed by that stomp as it is. So increasing the damage would make it like by far the best. And it's already a one hit.
Maybe just in PvP, like I don't know.
What you think it should be able to one hit a smash? Is what you're saying?
Well, if you like revert that and just say like you think smash should just kill any melee super, like
what it does right now. That's kind of I think that's like the meat of the point right there is like if you have an arc strider versus a striker, all a striker has to do is smash and then charge you, which is instantaneous, and you're dead.
Exactly. So like to me, it's just like what can the arc strider do against that? Like I don't even think that the R2 slam kills the smash. I'm not sure about that, but
well, not all supers need to be equal in every aspect. You know, like I think that it lasts less time. Number one.
Which one?
The smash. It doesn't last as long as an arc striker.
Well, doesn't one of the trees let you smash longer if you kill people?
Possibly. Yeah, I'm not familiar. But I know it doesn't last as long as an arc strider though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just concerned about that dynamic, especially because in Mayhem, like it's pretty much all supers against supers, and for the most part, it's like pretty even. Like there's never,
and think about the Mayhem with the new changes with all the the other stuff we'll get to, but I mean Mayhem is definitely gonna be supers versus supers.
Yeah, and so I think it's like you don't have to think about that dynamic all the time, but never like Arc Strider will go against a smash at some point, and he'll just get mostly obliterated. Like
I'll give you that the arc smash thing should be able to kill him in one hit. I don't think that like one swipe of the arc staff should kill a striker.
Well, I'm left thinking like what does the arc tree do that isn't it top tree that has the thing that's supposed to be the damaging lightning aftershock, but nobody uses that.
Right.
Like why doesn't it have the damaging lightning aftershock in the super?
Yeah. See, like that's a perfect example. Like if that was always just like when you did your super, that would be perfect because then it could kill like the smash because you dodged first and it kills them in one hit.
I'm looking at it right now. It says after dodging, each arc staff hits after creates. Each arc staff hit creates.
So I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. If you're already dead at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just something I'm like thinking about / worried about is arc staff versus smash because like every other super feels fine against it. Literally like every super.
I think RDG in chat makes a good point. I feel like he said like he feels like the striker and strider and all of them should like equalize each other. So like they should basically be killing each other and they should be trading. They shouldn't be like, and I think that's the kind of new point you want to get to is like right now that's not the case.
Well, it can't be. Like you really think that a Dawn Blade and a Golden Gun should each kill each other in one hit?
that's not what we're talking about though. Everything else is fine except staff versus smash. Like
Well, what
every
we're
other
talking
super is
about
fine.
specifically is Arc Strider and why you said the damage of the attack should be increased to
Yeah, well,
be more.
Because it's in the melee range, right? Like you have to get up close, and yeah, now it's a little bit easier. But if I can do all this work to get close, and then I just get smashed anyway, like what's the point?
But like, so let me put it to you another way. Like, I think that a Dawn Blade should be able to kill a hammer with one sword, but I don't think a hammer should be able to kill a Dawn Blade, because the hammers are just better. You know, those Dawn Blade swords move so much slower. It's not balanced.
I don't know. I played like strictly Dawn Blade during Mayhem. I thought those were the funnest fights. It was hammer versus.
Yeah, I love the Dawn Blade fights.
Yeah, they're great. I thought those were absolutely perfect. Like it was a 50-50 of who was going to get who, and like you actually feel like.
But I mean, it's just a fact. The swords travel slower than the hammers.
Yeah, but I can usually dodge in the air, or I can maneuver around it. I thought they were perfect. I don't know.
Well, you know, the golden gun shot, one golden gun shot can both kill a Slova, and it can destroy a Guardian's bubble.
So it is the golden gun thing is like I don't know, it's a little weird because most of the supers the golden gun can't kill in one shot unless it headshots, unless you're using the other tree and you reduce it down to 3, then it can. If you don't upgrade the 6-shooter, then you can kill people in one shot.
I mean, that's
yeah. I don't know.
That's assuming like you didn't click on something in the game that they wanted you to click on.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate things like that where it's just like it's better if you don't do the thing that you're intended to do. Like,
right.
I hate that.
Right. How about they just take 6-shooter out of the game because it sucks? Honestly, just take it out. You know, like the tree is better without that. I think. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Deadeye's amazing. I love the Deadeye perk. I wish it was in the other tree.
Yeah. I feel like it's really good just when people don't have their supers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so of the things that is most lethal, that's probably one of them. If you got a lot of people around you, I feel like it's pretty good. But again, I still think like all the supers against each other are pretty good except for the staff versus striker. But anyway.
All right, so moving on. Again, like I said, shoulder charge getting reverted back to what it was.
It's not really moving on because it continues on with more super stuff.
Yeah,
It's really just a whole long super talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Dawn Blade at least. So Dawn Blade, reduced cost for throwing swords, allowing 1 additional throw. You get 1 extra sword to throw. That's pretty good. Increased super duration extension gain from the Everlasting Fire perk. I don't know which tree that is.
Yes, I think that's the bottom tree.
Okay.
And it's amazing.
Removed in-air accuracy penalties from Swift Strike. So I think that's when you kill someone with a melee, right? You get accuracy buffs or something like that. That's Swift Strike, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so you kill someone with a melee, you can jump in the air and have perfect in-air accuracy. That's pretty awesome. I think that'll create an interesting gameplay dynamic. Reduce the Icarus dash cooldown. That's pretty cool. I would like to see them actually buff it a little bit. I don't know what it is about it, but it seems... Maybe it's just the mobility. Maybe the mobility will fix it, but it seems to be not as good as the Twilight Garrison was. Like, it leaves you a sitting duck in the air a little bit longer.
I think the animation is just a little slower.
That's what that guy did when he moved over. I was like, what the heck is that? That's the Icarus dash.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know about that?
No.
Oh.
People just don't use Dawnblade. That's why you never see it.
Right. Yeah, it's literally the same as the Twilight Garrison used to be. They were like, we should give this to Warlocks instead. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, thematically, it's really cool, though. Yeah. Dawnblade.
Dawnblade does seem to be getting quite the extensive overwork.
Yep.
So I love this Dawnblade, by far my favorite super.
Okay.
And the super length is so short right now. Like you shoot like 4, I think, and you're done in the top tree, and it's totally brutal. The bottom tree though, you can get it a long time, especially in PvE. Like you kill things and it extends your super by a lot. And if they're doing it even more, like that'll actually be really useful in PvP. And that Swift Strike thing is amazing because the top tree, I don't know if you know this, but if you just do your glide, you can still ADS and shoot and you'll still be gliding. But a lot of the complaint is just that your inner accuracy still sucks, so why would you just want to be gliding around?
Right.
and just missing everything.
Unless you're wearing that chest piece that lets you sit in the air or whatever.
Yeah, that stops you though. That like stops you
Yeah.
where you are. Whereas the gliding, you could actually move
Yeah.
like all the way left to right or wherever.
Kind of leaves you a sitting duck though, because it's like so slow. Right?
A little bit, but part of like what's good about a warlock is that like if you're behind a corner and someone's gonna push you, you can like floof in the air for a really long time and just like stay there. So it kind of just accentuates that, I guess. But yeah, it does leave you in the air. So
Okay. And the last thing with the Dawnblade is increased grenade and melee energy. Heat rises gives you per kill. So heat rises is what? You get every kill you get with a gun gives you grenade and melee energy?
When you
or
get
what?
kills while in the air, it
Oh.
reduces your grenade and melee cooldown.
So everything about like these buffs is going to promote that tree pretty much.
The top tree, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kind of sad the bottom tree didn't get a little love because its neutral game is nothing. You have a melee that blows people up and a little dash thing that, like if you're in the
Go to
air, you hold
ground.
it brings you down and you heal. Which
Isn't that though the point? Isn't
That's
that
the only
like,
one I ever see people use is that go
more
to
of a
ground.
PvE perk anyway?
No,
it's way more of a PvE.
I see people use it in PvP. The go to ground to heal thing. It's very
Really?
disorienting. Yeah, it's really weird when people
That's so
actually
weird.
use that. Well, because you're not expecting it. You never see people using it. So it's like.
That's true, but the animation is pretty long and it doesn't give you like full health. It just gives
Right.
you like a,
Yep.
Right.
I think it's a 25% or something like that. Anyway,
And you only get it when you hit the ground.
yeah,
But
exactly.
The
so-
cooldown on it is like nothing because it's not a class
There is no
ability or
cooldown, yeah.
anything. So.
We'll see.
So this is a pretty big change. Another Huffy change here. Invisibility is getting a nerf. If you use a controller, your aim assist will no longer be broken when a hunter goes invisible. It will still be broken during the actual dodge animation, but not when they're invisible after that. In compensation, you get an extra second of invisibility. So that's more of a PvE thing, I think. But yeah, so invisible hunters are not going to have an advantage against people with controllers, basically. I don't care that much. I mean, it's PC, so.
It's just to disincentivize you to use the Nightstalker, and obviously they want to push you towards the other specs anyway. So this is just one small change that they can do to make it really, really, really clear that they don't want you to use the Nightstalker in PvP.
Which, so it kind of bothers me, like that's the mentality, because on PC, I really don't think the Nightstalker is that good. Like, the super sucks, you know? Like, unless you really end up getting them clumped up and you get a direct hit and you can be behind cover while your animation, like, finishes, there's not, like, it's a very niche scenario where you can actually get multi-kills with that. You just end up dying while you're casting it, like, 90% of the time. So the super.
So the nice thing about the dodge thing is that it's unchanged.
Yeah.
Which means right now, there's a ton of like, dodge is actually a dodge. You could dodge the dodge. It feels like, I don't know if you guys ever played, you know, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, or anything like that, but during the dodge animation, you are untouchable. There's like 40% of the animation that you're completely untouchable.
Right.
And that's what dodging feels like in PvP. And I'm glad that it's not changing.
I'm glad that's not changing either, but because of the netcode, it doesn't always feel that way. So I'll be like mid-dodge, it'll say I died to a headshot, you know, because on their screen I hadn't even started dodging yet. But it still takes my dodge animation away, my dodge cooldown away, you know, it's just very...
But yeah,
annoying.
if on PC though, they could still shoot you. They don't need aim assist.
Yep.
So.
But I mean, it's unlikely though that they got a headshot while I was like horizontal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably just, that's all lag, I think.
Yep. All lag.
I'm surprised to hear a developer like openly talk about how strong the aim assist actually is in the game, though. I mean, can like, usually we don't really hear about like saying like, hey, yeah, each certain weapons have a lot of aim assist or not a lot of aim assist, and they're like openly talking about it, which I think is cool. But at the same time, it's like we kind of force their hand.
I think it's always been a core part of the game, though. When you put aim assist stat values on guns, you know, they kind of have to share that information.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And with mobility, it's going to make dodging even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Well, didn't they up like a lot of aim assist too? Like later, we'll talk about it later, but they also buffed a lot of aim assist, did they not?
On some, I mean, it depends
On
what
some
weapon
ones,
you're
yeah.
talking about. They nerfed it on auto rifles or on a specific type of auto rifle, but we'll get to
So
that.
more people are going to be using controllers on PC then, or is this?
I don't think
That's
so.
what I'm thinking.
I don't think so. I think it'll be about the same.
We'll talk about that when we get to it. But as far as the cloaking bit, it's still going to be really good in quick play because the radar is still in quick play. Invisibility is not going to be useful in competitive or trials, so that's kind of sucks. But it's a good change for PvE. I mean, 1 more second of invisibility, why not?
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to bring up that I'm concerned about, though, because this next point is that supers recharge faster. Cooldown 25% reduction. So for the Nightstalker, again, if they're like trying to steer people away from Nightstalker, I mean, like I was saying a second ago, the super already sucks. So now it's going to be everybody getting more supers, and it's just going to be that much more important that the super is not good. I mean, when you're getting one super a game, it doesn't matter as much, but when you're getting 2 to 3, it's a problem. Like the class is going to be underpowered, I think, honestly.
So you're saying
I think
that
go ahead.
the dodge no longer breaking aim assist was like a positive for the class, or
only if you
so what is your
shooting
incentive
at
in
you.
your eyes to play the Nightstalker?
A couple things. The smoke, the smoke you can use to trick people with the radar. The invis was decent, but only if you were going against someone with a controller. And the wombo combo is nice. I like the wombo combo because you can actually kill somebody with a wombo combo. But
I was just going to say, like, smoke is basically the only reason why you use Nightstalker.
yeah,
Like, after this patch, anyway.
right.
And smoke is good. Like, let's not undervalue that smoke because getting people totally disoriented or totally choking off a spot.
Hold on 1 second.
And especially because the cooldown is way shorter than a grenade. So getting that off to a choke, like putting it on, I don't know.
Well, the thing is what we have to remember too is the super is like 2 and 3 supers in the game. So that means that your effectiveness of the super is like greatly increasing because more people are going to be using supers and they're going to be using them faster. So if you're getting 3 to 4 supers a game, what you're going to see is people using the Nightstalkers, and they might get more people who are more pushy with the movement speed. You're going to get people who get into your tethers faster. So like all of this stuff might actually just be a buff to the Nightstalker in general.
Well,
I would also point out that I don't think tether is like really useful other than just like making a trap. Like, most
of these changes, by the way, guys, just so you guys know, do not affect most of them are completely unchanged in PvE. So that's why we're talking about the PvP elements of it.
Yeah.
So the trapping aspect, I gotta say, feels totally random to me. Like the only time that ever works is like when people just happen to randomly accidentally walk through it. Most of the time it's not intentional. When people lay it as a trap, it's like, oop, I accidentally shot it there, and then maybe it worked out, maybe it didn't.
I don't mean like using the actual perk that like makes it stick to the wall. I mean like just putting it at the back corner of the wall so that they kind of have to scramble around into your teammates. So you don't ever use it to like, oh, I'm just going to plant it where they're at right now. It's like, no, you have to really think about it. Otherwise, you're more than likely just going to get killed.
I just wish that Tether would go back to being instant activation. You don't have to hit somebody. Instant activation, and if you direct hit somebody, it should kill them unless they're in a super. It shouldn't kill them if they're in a super.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. Yeah, I don't understand why, especially the trap animation, like when it is on the wall, like that takes really long. Like you could have a guy who's in his super go by the trap, like shoot 2 hammers, and then he's tethered. Like why do that?
Right.
I don't know. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't just increase that speed of the activation.
Yeah. All right, we can move on.
Well, the next thing we're going to talk about is you're talking about the super recharging, and the next thing on the list, would be both. It would affect both PvE and PvP,
right?
Which is the mods.
Yeah. So the mods, it says it's not a replacement for mods 2.0, but the mods are now going to buff the cooldown reduction by 2 times. So what was it, 2 seconds of reduction before? So it'll be 4 seconds per mod now?
3 seconds.
It was
3 seconds before.
So it'll be 6 seconds per... That's pretty good. But
it's not bad.
It's not bad unless... I mean, the only way it's really worth it to use is if you're using all of them, I think. You know?
Yeah. Well, 2 at least. I think 3 is... I don't know. But
did they even say if they're doing anything to the like the kinetic mods and stuff? Because like most of the time you don't want to use the kinetic mod, like the recoil mods.
Oh right.
I don't
counterbalance
so.
and also.
Yeah, I mean counterbalance is really good, I thought, but.
Yeah.
I've seen so much conflicting stuff. First, I heard it doesn't do anything. Then people are like, no, it does do something. But like I don't know. I've never seen the tests that say like definitively like how good that is.
Yeah, so I used 2 kinetic mods. No, I'm sorry, 2 energy mods with the Darkest Before, and it is a laser beam.
Right.
It does not. It does not move off of their head.
Well, I use no counterbalance mods, and it is a laser beam.
It's still pretty good, yeah. But I think it's just like there's certain guns types that it doesn't work for. So like SMGs, like it doesn't do a lot because the sway is like really crazy already, and I think it reduces it by like 4 or 5%, and you're just not going to notice that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm kind of confused. Like, so the way they're wording it makes it seem like, suppose the cooldown for your grenade is a minute, that it can now be 30 seconds. Like, what does it mean?
So did they actually say that the grenades? I mean, have we just not reached it yet, or did they say that the grenades and all that stuff, the times would be reduced on those in general?
Yeah, so it says mods that reduce grenade, melee, and class ability cooldowns have been buffed to allow for up to 2 times faster cooldowns.
Right.
So my cooldown,
but the actual time of them to like the base time isn't reduced.
No, I don't know. I didn't see anything. About that.
I don't know. The wording is just weird to me.
I didn't see anything about the base time being reduced at all. It's just the mods.
Yeah. So that's I mean, it's going to be a big benefit to like that way you say, oh, okay, so I'm going to actually pick a mod that I want, but then I'd like to be able to buy the mod that I want.
Oh my god.
It's weird though because the super is going to be recharging faster, but they didn't change the base of the
grenades, right?
Yeah.
It's like the class abilities is still right now that's 20 seconds.
I guess it's the only way they can make these mods worth it without making it go back to grenade spam craziness. You know?
Yeah.
Well, they don't want that,
right?
And they definitely. I mean, we've talked about it on this podcast several times where we believe the right time is around 45 seconds.
Yep.
Right now it's 1:20, and in Destiny, the first Destiny, it was 20 seconds.
25.
Way too fast.
25. 25 if you had full discipline. Yep.
Yeah, which was ridiculous.
Yeah. But there was also a component to that which I don't think exists anymore, where if you had double grenades in Destiny 1, your second grenade recharged slower. I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah, no, it still is. I think it's slower. I don't know how much, but in Destiny 1 it was the base, whatever 0 tier was. That's the speed, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I got you.
I think part of the reason they're doing that with the mod thing is kind of twofold. Like, it makes the current mods a little better, but it also, not reducing the base cooldown, leaves them leverage so that when the mods do come out, they can be that much more effective. So,
well, and they want to take baby steps in the right direction, so they're not they were very clear about why they weren't nerfing everything right off in the bat. And I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like the first week where they said, we understand what you're saying about auto rifles. Not that you're wrong, but we're not going to do anything yet until we get more hard data. And they just wanted they do not want to step back into the role of what they did in year 2 and make a mistake with a certain weapon archetype and have to revert it back or have the community basically uproar in it about it.
Yeah,
it's a tricky thing for them to do because it comes off a little condescending. It's like, we know you're saying this is a problem, but you guys don't really know what you're talking about. So
right, and they definitely, I don't think they mean to sound like that, but it's like they just want to get more data, and they want to make sure they're doing the right thing. And if like if they do enough right things, then eventually we'll get to where we want it to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I do want to just like point out, look, we just talked about how they like kind of like change our words, like, oh, like you said this, but really, like you mean this or you want this.
Yeah.
One of the first sentences in like the paragraph is like, when we looked at the core feedback on time to kill in the
Right.
Crucible, we
Yeah.
saw it mostly stem from a lack of excitement or spikes of intensity you all came to expect from a Destiny experience. It's like, no, we just really what we said was reduce time to kill. So just there's this pattern of just like, listen, I know you said this, but what
Yeah.
you really meant
Yeah.
was this.
Well,
That's a good
right,
point.
exactly. They did the same thing on when the Mida, they had the Mida. They were like, I know you guys are saying the Mida is the best weapon in the game, but not that you're wrong, but you haven't looked hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or when like, listen, I know grenade launchers like seem kind of bad, but it's just like people haven't found them yet.
I actually I remember like a pretty interesting quote.
That's why I'm using hand cannons, is to reduce the time to kill.
I remember a pretty interesting quote. John Wisniewski was talking about the data, and in Destiny 1 at the time when the Mida was really like rampant, like high caliber rounds just made it so useful to use because of snipers and stuff like that. And so he said, the Mida, I know a lot of people are complaining about the Mida, but our data shows that it's not the most lethal weapon and that high skill players aren't having the most success with that. And they asked him, well, what weapon is the best then? And he said, actually, believe it or not, the 2 Nella. Like, really? The 2 Nella is the best weapon in the game?
Yeah.
Are you selling that to me right now?
I don't even have that weapon.
There's an Omelon scout
Yep.
from the guns when he
Yep.
sold guns.
Omelon Scout. It was like
When he sold guns.
It was like
Got
in
it.
the same archetype
Got
of
it. When he sold guns.
of like hung jury, right? It was like
Love
hung
to
jury.
Yeah, yeah.
love to have a gunsmith sell guns,
Oh yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so like they do that a lot with like the whole, oh, you guys say this, but the data says otherwise. And I think like with this time to kill thing, I hope that it works the way they're doing it. But it seems like they're trying to outsmart the problem. They're like,
Yeah.
we know you want time to kill lower, but we're gonna just address time to kill by not addressing time to kill. All right.
I don't think it's an issue of them being too cocky, though, because it's
No.
definitely not
No.
like we know better than you do about the
Right.
game, but it's like they're seeing things that we're not, but they're not being open about what they are seeing because they can't be. Because it's like, well, really, we there's data that suggests that you might not know there's something in the game, and we don't want to just tell you because that would kind of
Right.
spoil the fun of the
But
game.
as like just a consumer of their product, it just feels bad when they're like, listen, I'm telling you X, and you're just like, no, yeah, you're actually telling me Y.
I
It's
don't know
like,
what you're talking about.
yeah, exactly. Just,
So
it just doesn't feel good as
As a
part of the
consumer.
community. Yeah, as a consumer.
I
Just
want to get
feels
this
weird.
out here before we move on to this next part. I'm really happy that they're being transparent about all of these changes that are coming. But there's one thing that I want to say is I wish they would give us numbers. They used to give us numbers. Now there's all this stuff in here. Increase this, decrease that, but it's vague. It doesn't give us percentages. It does, there's some of the stuff we read had percentages, but now the weapon tuning, for whatever reason,
I don't think this is the patch notes, though. This is just like the preview.
Yeah, so right now this is like, you got to think of it like this, right? This is in their test bed, where a bunch of people are playing. These numbers are still. They've decided that pulse rifles need to be increased, and pulse rifles, the base damage, and like all that stuff. We'll go over it, but like as they've decided that they need to be increased, by how much is the question.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, it's not a patch note. So like if it came to patch day and they post this stuff and there's no numbers, like then I would be like, oh yeah, like come on,
Be
buddy.
like, oh, we
Give me the
made pulse rifles better. You'll love them.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
right.
What? Darkest Before? What?
Yeah. what?
I don't understand.
So yeah, but like until that time comes, like I'm not sweating the numbers.
Yeah.
It'd be nice, but like you said, they're probably changing it as is.
Well, it said so they've
Sorry
buffed
about
several weapon archetypes, right? Not limited to hand cannons, pulse rifles, sniper rifles, and shotguns, with a few specific perks. The goal is to make shotgun, snipers, and fusion rifles much more prevalent in the game. And they go over a list of basically all the tuning, which you can cover, Rick.
Okay. So right off the bat, pulse rifles. Obviously, pulse rifles are not seeing a lot of use in PvE or PvP in general, especially on console. So what they're doing is increasing PvE damage for all pulses. Thumbs up. They're increasing the rate of fire for adaptive and high impact pulses. Good, because they suck.
Yep.
They're terrible. Like, what's that? The disrespectful stare? It's literally one of the worst weapons I've ever used in a first-person shooter ever. So bad. So hopefully that rate of fire buff will help it be better. Increased base damage for adaptive, high impact, and rapid fire pulses. EXO. Did
you notice they didn't say
before,
anything about the darkest before there? Because it is a rapid fire pulse.
It's getting a buff.
Right.
It's literally getting a buff. It's a base damage buff.
Sort of.
What do you mean
So
sort
yes,
of?
it is getting a buff on the body shots, but the precision multiplier is staying the same.
Well, base damage is not just body shots. The multiplier is going to...
Oh, the multiplier, the precision multiplier. You're right, you're right. So yeah, so technically it's getting a buff.
It's going to be crazy. Whoa.
Yeah.
It's already the best weapon in the game, so we'll see how that goes. But maybe some of this other stuff will come up and it won't stand out as much.
What are the
That's kind of what
pulses?
I'm hoping for. Is that there is a
I think Nightshade.
There is a lightest after, you know, like some kind of like an antithesis to the to the darkest before.
If I'm being honest with you, I don't think they're even thinking about it. I think they're like, that's happening on PC. We're not worried about PC. Seriously. They're like, only like 5 people play PC, you know, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think lightweight is the Nightshade, that archetype.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, I think that's exactly the point, is that any weapon you decide to use shouldn't be a handicap. And I think that's kind of like the whole point of like what they're doing. And we're just talking about pulse rifles right now, but like any weapon you choose to use in that slot should not feel like a disadvantage because you're using it.
True.
Yeah.
There's always going to be bad weapons, but I think like whole archetypes being terrible and completely unusable, it's got to change.
Yeah, like adaptive
Yeah.
and lightweight and anything that's not the darkest before.
Yeah.
For pulse rifles,
The
the
darkest
Vigilance Wing,
before isn't good
Vigilance
in
Wing is
PvE,
amazing.
to be fair.
well, the Vigilance Wing, right, is an exotic and it's a 530, so they're going to also increase the base damage for that as well.
Yeah.
And that gun's already like really good.
Yeah. But so like the darkest before is not a good archetype for PvE, so I think that we'll see these high impact ones.
Well, see,
actually
the
be good at PvE.
damage increase we'll see, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
And also like I think the ammo stat is a problem in the darkest before. I don't know if you've noticed, I run out of ammo in the Crucible a lot with it.
Well, the
kinda
reason
weird.
why you don't see you see like, because they're mentioning how the darkest before is 52 in PvP.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you see it as ranked as 52 in PvP is because it's not the best on console. It's not
No,
even close.
it's
to the
not
best on
good.
console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only the best on PC.
Yeah.
Pulses in console in general just are not
Right.
great.
Yeah. And to be honest, like I don't know that this is going to fix it because the recoil pattern is a lot of the problem.
That's the thing, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I don't see anything about recoil changing here at all. Just to wrap up pulses, decrease precision multiplier for adaptive, increase for lightweight, and keeps precision damage close to where it is now, putting most of the buff into body shots, though it is still an increase in precision damage overall. So overall buff to all pulses, pretty much. Yeah. I think we can kind of leave it at that and move on to scouts.
Well, you know, and RDG made a good point as well. Like the lightweight pulses and adaptive pulses and the other type of pulses nobody's using, so you know they're gonna give those a buff. And like you know, there's just a little bit of things here on scout rifles and hand cannons. We can quickly roll through them and then just talk about each one of them. You know, spend a little bit of time if you want.
Okay. So scouts are getting a PvE damage buff and an increased damage in general for high impact scouts. That sounds good. I think that'll all be PvE, like high impact you're not really going to use in PvP unless it's enough.
If you can't
to,
3-shot with like Jade Rabbit,
you got to be able to 3-shot. Otherwise, don't use it in PvP. The hand cannons are getting a PvE damage buff. They're getting increased precision multiplier for precision hand cannons. Which archetype is precision?
The highest.
So the precision hand cannon, the closest one that you can come to
150
is,
or 140? Which one is it?
One
cold sweat, and it is 180.
180.
Yeah, it's the ones that like fire straight. They don't kick to the side.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well,
There's only
cold
like a
sweat
few.
is actually faster than any other hand cannon that I've ever used.
Well, there's Nature of the Beast. I think.
Nature of the Beast. Yep, from the Crucible.
And I think that's also a precision frame as well.
Yep, that's 180. Yeah.
So, is it going to kill in one less shot if you hit precisions?
Well, the time to kill is just that much better.
Yeah, but no one's using them right now, right?
Maybe it's just like you need one less headshot.
Because I think it takes 5 or 6 shots right now with that archetype.
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
And the ammo stat is not great on it anyway. You still don't get like a huge reserve of ammo. Like,
no, I think my cold sweat has 9 in the magazine right now.
That's horrible for a fast firing.
Yeah, it's like one kill and you're done.
Oh my gosh.
Good luck with that.
And I don't use it because I have the Darkest Before. It's an energy hand cannon.
Yeah.
Cold sweat comes from Trials, by the way, guys.
Gotcha.
So, last thing about hand cannons in here. Increased hip fire accuracy on consoles, increased ADS accuracy on consoles. Now, Godin, we had talked about this last night and said, like, we weren't sure if this was going to apply to PC controllers, and Josh Hamrick actually answered that today on Twitter.
Oh, sweet.
He said, yeah, those changes should all manifest on PC with controllers. So,
nice. PC
with controller getting hand cannon buff.
Well, it'll be PC with... Yeah, exactly. So any console, any controller experience that you have would carry over to the PC.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because that was one of the things that kind of bugs me as someone who switches from keyboard and controller quite a bit. Is just that I wanted my guns to kind of be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like if I use a hand cannon on mouse and keyboard, I don't always use that on controller because like especially the fast firing ones, like it's hard. It's really hard to hit shots because the accuracy is like so bad.
Is that true? Sunshot is also a precision frame.
I don't.
No, it isn't. It's 150 or 150.
Yeah, it's like the Dire Promise, I think.
Yep.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So that's awesome. Totally.
Absolutely.
Sidearms.
Sidearms increase PvE damage. I still don't think that they're going to be used in PvE.
Nope. Last hope. Here we go.
Yeah. I always try to like play with sidearms and PvE, and it's so trash, but it's still fun. Increased
hip fire accuracy, that's good. Increased ADS
what I want
accuracy.
is all of these changes, and we'll talk about them after. I mean, you can go through the whole list. Go through the whole list in every single one.
Inventory size, that's good. So more reserve.
Increased inventory size.
Yep, more reserve ammo. Increased minimum range. I don't know what that means exactly. Like the minimum.
So there's this thing that happens with sidearms when you ADS, and it's like it cuts off. It zooms in so freaking far that you can't move fast enough to get to the minimum range of the effectiveness. So like if you're like ADSing on somebody, it's better to not ADS and then just shoot him in the face.
Right.
If you're close.
Which they buffed the hip fire accuracy, so you still can do that. Added an ADS movement bonus, so I guess you can strafe faster with sidearms now.
Cool.
That's nice. So, RIP consoles, the last hope is going to be even better. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
RIP.
Well, in their defense, though, the last hope, the last dance is now going to be just as good, and other sidearms are going to be just as used as prevalently.
No, because the last hope is literally bugged and is in a fire rate that doesn't exist with any other sidearm, and instead of fixing it, they just changed the tooltip to accurately reflect it.
Because right now it says 491.
Right, which is not normal.
That's kind of
ADS is ADS. We keep referring to this. It's aim down sights. Yeah.
Right. But I think they need to adjust that and bring it in line with the Last Dance, so that it's not killing people.
Last
so
Dance
fast.
should be like the same.
I thought
thing.
I thought they were the same. Like
No,
They're not.
it
has
used
that
to
always been a thing?
No, it used to say the same in the tooltip.
Oh, okay.
but
It still does right now. It says 491 on each one.
But yeah, there's an issue with that. It kills too fast. It's just faster than anything else. So
Yeah.
but you don't see it on PC because it's really hard to aim that thing for whatever reason. with
I
the
actually think
mouse
that
and
like the
keyboard.
accuracy is weirdly bugged on like mouse.
Yeah.
Because I play with it mouse, like I'll be in the same match, I'll have Last Hope, I'll play with it on mouse and keyboard, and it's just weird. Like I'm not hitting the shots that I normally hit, so I use my controller, and then I do start landing those shots. So I don't know, something's weird.
So I'm looking at both of them in the game, and they both say 491.
Okay.
But like one of them has Last Dance's increased movement speed and target acquisition while ADS, and the other one, Last Hope, should be better because the stability on paper should be better. Send Moment is a better perk.
Yeah.
But it's not better for whatever reason.
Move on.
SMGs increase PvE damage. Good. Set optics to 1.3x. What was it before? Does anybody know?
Like 1.2 maybe, 1.1. I don't know.
Well, that would be bad. It should be like they should be making it not as far of a zoom.
Well, I think it's like the more when they set the optic, doesn't it also like move the range?
No, it just reduces the field of view. Is all it does.
Well, okay, so like I know if you like from short scopes to medium scopes on auto rifles anyway, not I don't know about other guns, but if you use a medium scope, your accuracy is pushed out further.
Yeah,
So-
but that's because they build into those scopes stats
More
on
range.
the gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
But no,
this will just change the actual optics of base optics of it. Like
Yeah.
you remember when they nerfed snipers, they were like, "Oh, you can't have a 4x scope anymore. It has to be 5.2 now." And everyone was like, "That's dumb." Okay.
Yeah, that's dumb. Yeah, yeah. I just think if it moves the range stat out so that I can actually hit shots further, like I'd be okay with it. If it doesn't do that, then yeah, it's kind of weird.
But I mean, do you want them to be hitting further in PvP? Like a lot of SMGs are already like they hit pretty far as it is now. Like the Antiope, do you want the Antiope
yeah.
going further? I don't.
Again, no. The only reason the Antiope is like that is because it has the medium scope.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see how
didn't
it works out,
like
yeah.
the set optics to 1.3, does that affect
No.
all of the?
It doesn't affect any of that, I don't think. I think it's literally just an optical effect. So I
Maybe,
don't
yeah.
know. Again, I don't even know what the optics are now. So I
Yeah,
would.
maybe it's like 1.5 right now, and they're reducing it.
Right.
What would they say reduce it? You know,
I don't know.
Just say freaking we reduced it. We
Yeah,
increased
just-
it. We made it harder for you to see.
Yeah.
It just says set optics.
Yep. More inventory size, so more ammo. That's good.
Yep.
Linear fusion rifle. Increased PvE damage. Okay, cool. Maybe.
Oh, good
people
lord,
will
thank
use
you.
those.
Because their first week of that prestige challenge, when it actually comes out,
Yes.
is going to be linear fusion rifle. And I swear to you, we tried it, and yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't go over very well.
Increased precision multiplier, so even more damage. Increased aim assist. I don't care. Increased flinch multiplier. Or reduced
reduced
flinch multiplier. So all
Well,
good.
it right now it has the same flinch as a regular fusion rifle. So like it doesn't matter if you're using a merciless or a tarantula. If you use a tarantula, you'll still go up that stupid high amount, and it should be like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it has one bullet.
because it's a precision weapon. So
Right.
shotgun, increased PvE damage, good. Increased inventory size, good. Aim assist and
More increase, yes.
increased aim assist for Suros precision
Yeah,
shotgun.
Suros precision guns. So Suros backstory on that is like they have a little
Like the retrograde futurist, right?
yeah, I mean all the Suros
Or
weapons are
retrofuturist,
supposed to be
whatever.
fantastic because like the auto rifles and everything, like they're not like Suros weapons. That's like precision is what they do.
Yeah. I mean, they should have fixed the Suros sidearms because those are garbage.
Yeah. Well, they actually have the highest range for a kill.
Yeah, they also have
Shotgun?
the worst sound in the game.
Yeah.
Snipers. This is where I start to get sad, and we'll get to you know, the problem. You know, they talked about this weeks ago. There's something bugged in the scopes. They can't reduce the flinch yet. They want to. It's going to be fixed later. We'll get to that in a little bit. But for now, increased PvE damage, good, because they suck in PvE. You don't have enough ammo to really make any impact anyway. Increased precision multiplier, good. Increased aim assist, okay, that's cool. Increased inventory size, nice. Okay, so more PvE basically. It's still gonna suck in PvP, unfortunately. It sucks. Oh well. Grenade launchers, bigger blast radius. RIP. Play of the game is gonna be, and this better not apply to the colony. Okay.
A lot of people complain about the colony. I actually don't find it that bad because if you just time your jumps, it's not that bad.
It's just a matter of when it gets annoying is when I juke like 2 of them and then the guy fires the other 2. More. I'm like,
he knows, dude.
Pick somebody else, man. All right.
Rip, dude. Anyway, last one, I think.
Yeah, I just go over that last one because like all of these are primarily in PvE, and there's one big thing I wanted to point out when you get through this.
All right, so last one. This is one of 2 nerfs in this entire patch. They call it an assault rifle here. I don't know why. An auto rifle in Destiny. It's not Halo anymore, Bungie. We can use this term apparently. Decreased range and aim assist stats for precision autos, which is the Uriel's Gift archetype, is reduced. So less range and aim assist, base damage not changed. Good change.
So why are they calling them assault rifles and auto rifles? I don't understand.
Probably just a mix-up.
Yeah, it's probably like in their internal team they call it assault rifles or something freaking stupid like that, you know. Like what there used to be something like that where they would like everybody called it something and like in their patch notes they said something else and they were like, oh, you people don't know, we use this term around here, you know?
Wasn't it the solar, they called solar something else?
That and Comet, that and internally Comet, which became the Taken King. You know, the Comet releases on the September of the following year, but there's one big change.
But you're right, the elements were different. That's what it was. All
of this stuff, you know, we're going to get to is one big, awesome change for one very specific encounter that is the baths in
the raid.
The raid. I want to be able to use something other than the Merciless. I want to be able to use a grenade and, you know, just kill that bather with maybe some power, and I want to be less reliant on power in general. So with all of these damage increases, you know, we should be seeing the bather his health coming down a lot faster, which is a good thing because the raid in general is way too reliant on power ammo.
So what you're saying is that they should buff the Minotaurs in the Eater of Worlds.
If the Minotaur's got a buff right now, there's 5 Minotaurs up.
Here we go.
If they got a buff right now, it would be impossible to play that raid.
Sounds good. All right, confirmed. So you heard it here. Yeah. Yep.
Make it impossible.
All right, so we good with weapons then? We moving on, or you have anything else to say? I think this will be great, this auto rifle change, because now like controller users won't be able to map me with the stupid Uriel's GIF, and that is a good thing in my opinion.
Yeah, well played. Maybe do the perks as well, because
sure.
Similar.
All right.
I mean, basically everything the weapon perks are getting. I mean, is there any ones that's standing out to me? I think Dragonfly increased damage.
It's going to be Firefly. It's going to be Firefly. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
I hope they also do that to that hand cannon.
This Dragonfly
time payload, which will split. You know, instead of just the increased duration, Rampage gets increased duration, increased PvP.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All of it is increased kill clip and high impact. Dragonfly, Grave Robber. I don't even use that now. I don't think Cold Sweat has it.
Grave Robber is really good if it's on an SMG.
So that's a hand cannon.
So this Dragonfly thing made me think immediately about how with pulse rifles getting buffed, that future War Cult pulse, the Heart of Time, might be really, really good.
The Heart of Time, and there's the Soul Pariah. What is it? No, it's the one of the ones that what am I talking about? It's the Infinite Path.
Okay.
The one with Dragonfly on it.
So
And
guys, hold on to these weapons. Don't get rid of your Dragonfly weapons if you still have them.
No,
Yeah.
Dragonfly is going to become amazing.
Yeah.
No, don't get rid of any weapon. Just put it in your vault that has endless space. You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
That so wait for. We've been talking about that for weeks. You know, it's been how many days since they've increased?
Dude, I watch Fire Team chat sometimes, and Destin starts every episode with, "It's been 1,342 days since the last vault increase." So that's pretty good. But with this other stuff, it's mostly PvE buffs to these perks. That's good. I still think like Grave Robber's not going to get used. It's just never been that good. Time payload. Okay, so the explosive split.
Again, Grave Robber, if you like main SMG, is actually decent.
So this explosive rounds, they say that this is not a nerf. They're saying it's not a nerf because they've brought the base damage of weapons up to compensate. So basically, your Better Devils and your Nameless Midnight will do the same damage it's doing now. But not really though, because I have to say, at least with Better Devils, since they're nerfing the explosive rounds, if you're trying to use that at range, it's going to be a problem because you're going to find that the range fall off affects your damage stat now. So,
well, it makes it so that especially in PvE content, that the fall off is like they're lessening the amount of the explosion, but they're increasing the damage. But now the damage is required to be at range,
right?
So you're no longer going to be able to sit from like 100 miles away and shoot somebody and get the high damage. Like you're basically breaking the game with the Better Devils right now by getting more damage than what a regular hand cannon would give you.
They swear that this is not a nerf, but it is a nerf. Like right now in PvP with the Better Devils,
it is in how you're using it right now.
You can 6-tap from any range. Doesn't matter if you hit him in the body, whatever. It's always 6 taps.
Yeah.
No matter how far away you are, and that is not going to be the same. I can guarantee.
It's only a nerf in PvE if you're using it not in its intended range,
which everyone is.
I mean, it depends like what encounter you're on. If you're bad,
exactly. Your point exactly, Wrecked. Everyone is currently using it because it's basically taking advantage of the explosive rounds not having a fall off.
Right.
So by reducing it and then putting more of the damage back into it, it's going to change it to a regular hand cannon that you can use in, you know, explosive rounds is a good perk.
Right. And also, how much is it being decreased? Like I really need to know that, you know.
70%.
Yeah. It just does 2 damage in the explosive part now, guys. So we'll see how that plays out. But they say it's not a nerf, so we'll see. So a couple things to wrap up here that, like they mentioned before, mods rework. It got pushed back, the mods rework, and it's not going to be till we don't know when. So we're assuming September, maybe sooner, probably not. So in the meantime, that's why they did the ability cooldown thing, which it kind of scares me because I was thinking about this and I'm like, was their original plan for mods 2.0 to just make ability cooldowns better? And then they were like, people are going to be pissed if we do this.
No, I think what they did was was what they're looking at is they're looking at more impactful stats. I give the example every time I play World of Warcraft that there is impactful stats on everything you do, and so you can change from one stat to another and be just as effective if you want to be that way. You can go from one of the 4 stats to just major in one of those other 4 stats and be just as effective in certain boss fights or certain fights or even be PvP. But you can't do that in Destiny, where the 3 stats don't really mean or do anything. They don't really affect your damage at all. So that disincentivizes you to worry about the highest level of gear, because the highest level of gear doesn't want to give you anything that makes it better for you. So that's where the challenge is. Like, they can't just give you more resilience and more or just like faster cooldowns. They actually have to do something that is going to give you more power in the game. And I think
That's
the
my
way
point,
that
though. That's my point. So that I think that's what they're trying to do now. But is the reason that it was delayed because it was originally such a simple vision for it?
I honestly think they like didn't really have anything. They were just like, we got mods, live team will take care of it later on. Like that's probably what happened.
Oof. AAA titles.
yeah, I think they
man.
walked into the room. They're like, okay, so you're working on mods. See what you got. They're like, we really think that the mods are in a good spot right now.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
like,
We know you guys are
What?
saying that mods aren't complex enough, but we have a different idea about that. So
Yeah.
our data says differently.
Wait. You're saying you want mods. I think you just want more microtransactions.
Yeah, yeah.
You
What you're saying.
haven't
You want more
found-
emblems.
you haven't found the greatest weapon in the game yet.
The
What's
darkest
the greatest
before.
weapon? Well, I
So-
can't tell you that.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
better than mods, I have shaders that are consumables.
But they're
Boom.
not. They're not going to be for very much longer.
So I don't
Yeah.
know why they gave this really in-depth explanation of the invisibility. We already covered this. The invisibility doesn't work on, or doesn't negate aim assist
I liked it because I
anymore.
was unsure how they were going to change like the smoke bomb one that makes you go invis.
Okay.
But that's the only reason.
So, yeah, invisibility does not negate aim assist. Only the dodge negates aim assist. That's it. Snipers. This is kind of a big deal. Again, the scopes are bugged. They can't reduce the flinch like they want to. It's going to take till May. I am super sad about this. I just want to snipe. I've wanted to snipe for 6 months, Bungie. Help me. Oh, my God. But they did show a playtest of the fix that they're working on. I'm just going to play this right on stream because it's pretty cool how the sniper looks, and I'm super excited about it. Here you go, guys.
Right.
Counter. Now hit them again.
So you saw he got hit there. He barely took damage. There's the power ammo with the timer on it. Right.
Zone B captured. Zone advantage is yours.
Now I'm just, like a little disappointed he hasn't taken damage since that like first shot. Now he's just like sniping people.
Like Iron Lords.
Seems like the aim assist is working pretty well. He's probably using a controller.
Down.
See, he had to pick up that power ammo with the X button, so that was laying on the ground. But yeah, looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. You guys have anything else about sandbox stuff?
I don't know. It's all pretty good, I would say.
Yep.
Nothing that I'm like kind of sad or mad about. All really good. The thing with the sniping though, I'm actually kind of happy they're holding off on the flinch thing, not so much for PvE, but just for PvP, because there was a time in Destiny 1 where it was really annoying. Like every lane you went into, there was like 2 snipers, and you were just done, and you couldn't do anything with your primary. Like I don't want to go back to that. That's not enjoyable.
That was when you had unlimited special ammo. You spawned with special ammo. You got more and more special ammo. This is power ammo. That's why I think it should be different.
Yeah, we don't really know how often people will have their snipers though. It's kind of because they get it on kills and all these other things. So I'm happy that it's kind of holding off. We'll see how it works, but there's a potential for it to be really bad that way.
You won't have a whole team of people with them. You know, there might be one,
that's true.
one guy with it, but I mean, honestly, like I was using snipers the whole night last night, just practicing with it, and it is so freaking bad, man. The flinch makes it unusable. I mean, like
especially if they're using an aerial's gift, it's even worse.
I just feel like every time I pick it up, you know, no matter how good I am with a sniper, I just feel like I'm squandering an opportunity for my team by taking sniper ammo. You know, like, because I could just run around with an Acreus and get 4 easy kills. But no, I'm going to pick up this sniper ammo. I'm going to get flinched 4 out of 6 times, maybe get 1 to 2 kills, you know? So that's
but
the state
also
it's in
the
now.
Acurus can kill you across the map. So that's kind of like, there's a bit of a trade-off. I'm a little bit weird. Like, Acurus, like, you got to get up there, right? And that's pretty risky, but there is potential for the snipers to like be overpowering. in terms of like everything else.
I don't
why
know,
wouldn't you?
man.
There's a potential.
I want
I'm
like
just saying.
I want like an exotic sniper. I want an exotic sniper with Icarus on it, so I can just jump in the air and just snipe people with perfect accuracy and stuff like that.
Dawnblade.
Yeah.
But do you really want to do that?
No.
No, you don't. No.
So a couple cool things about this companion app I just wanted to bring up real quick. The companion app got patched this week. What?
Companion app is terrible.
Well, but there's some cool stuff coming. The API is getting updated. So Wednesday, we got the ability to modify shaders, effects, mods, perks, and masterworks from the companion app. I'm probably not going to do that, but the ability is there. In the future,
I had installed the companion app, but go ahead and tell me what I need to reinstall it. Why do I need to reinstall it?
So the future possibilities, they say, ever wanted to clear out that cruft that's built up in your inventory a bit faster? First of all, cruft? Question mark. Us too. Vendor purchasing on the go, or perhaps it's time for clearing all the rare items from your inventory that have accumulated throughout your play session. Yes, we need more inventory management possibilities. And also, these enhancements affect the API, and hopefully DIM, you'll be able to go into DIM, say, get rid of all my blues. Boom.
Yeah.
Goodbye. You know?
Unlocked blues, you mean?
Unlocked
Because not the
blues.
azimuth. You would not get rid of the azimuth.
Yeah, I mean, I just got rid of like 3 azimuths last night, but it's fine.
Feels bad.
Dude, I didn't even try it, but like, I was like, oh yeah, EXO said to use this thing, and I compared it, and I was like, this has the worst handling and stability I have ever seen.
Oh,
There's
they
no
all do.
way I'm using
All
that
those
thing.
high impacts. Terrible.
Mm.
But that's pretty much it for the companion app. They say a couple things about the Nightfall in here. So basically, they're aware of the of the lost sector thing that people are abusing to get these high scores, and they said, "Sorry guys, not gonna be able to fix it till May."
Feels bad.
So in the meantime,
So, do some lost sectors while you do it Nightfall.
yeah, I don't want to
Sir.
do that though. It doesn't seem fun.
I mean, if you need to, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
If you want to be number one, you got to.
yeah, you have to if you want to be number
Yeah.
one. But so the thing that they say is like they're gathering data to get these benchmarks, but they're somehow disincluding these lost sectors. I don't know if I buy it. They say they're leaving it at 20, 40, 60, 80k points now, but they're thinking about moving them in the future. I don't know how they're going to separate the data. You know, like, I don't know. I literally don't know. This is such a mess.
Yeah,
May to fix
May's
this.
a long time.
Yeah. But in the meantime, mobility
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, think about how much quicker you'll be able to get into the lost sector to get more points.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I need more incentives to break the game with bugs.
Yes.
Then I need more bugs to be in the game for me to do that. If they could never fix the word cliff glitch and make that the primary reason to have it in a raid, it'd be great.
Yeah, and that's what they're
Did
going
they
to do.
say they were going to fix that? Or I thought,
It's on a list.
Yeah.
is it? Oh, okay. I was
It's
unsure.
really low on the
I
priority.
thought that they didn't
Yeah.
say they're going to fix that.
Yeah, I thought it was like, they were like,
It's
we
in
don't
their
really-
list of things that they're not touching. That's what I saw last. Like,
Oh, was it? Okay.
So they said they're buffing a bunch of exotics. The exotic tuning is happening in May. And they gave a
Gotcha.
list of exotics they're not buffing, which included Wardcliff, Telesto, Acreus, Colony, and Merciless.
Merciless,
I think
yeah.
that's it. But
What are the exotic snipers? Like, I've never even touched them.
there's the Darcy, which is terrible.
Which, yeah.
Darcy, which is awful, and then there is the Borealis, which is a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
Now it's really cool. When we get it, year 2.
Year two,
If
maybe.
we're lucky.
It's really slow. So the perk is it can change its. It's not like the hard light where you have to decide on something beforehand. So you can use it in a prestige Nightfall, and you hold down the reload button to switch its element.
Oh,
So it can switch between all 3 of them. The problem though is that it's a little slow to do that. So you kind of have like when you were going into a room, you better know what you're going into beforehand. So you go and you reload your weapon. You just hold down the reload button and it switches. It'll be nice when we get it year 2.
Yeah,
I'm just
it sounds cool, but
what awesome weapon.
You remember what happened with the Taken King exotics, where they were like, "Hey guys, I know we said this was coming in a year,
yeah,
but actually it's going to be 2 years." So
well, the Monte Carlo I thought was 1 year, right?
that was 1 year, but that wasn't a Taken King. That was a vanilla.
Yeah, we're talking about like Jade Rabbit and all that other stuff.
And the other sniper.
I played on PlayStation, so I was unfortunate for my brethren who played on the Xbox, and I'm like, you guys have no idea. These weapons are really cool.
Yeah.
So it was Jade Rabbit and what was that sniper that they added in December update? It was the one that the big explosion if you got 4 kills in a row or whatever.
It's dynamite with a laser beam. What was it called?
Zen Meteor?
Zen Meteor. Yeah. That was a really fun gun.
Yeah. Never used it.
Dude, if you could get that 4th shot in PvP, ooh, it felt like $1 million.
Yeah.
So, it was the only sniper that had explosive rounds, and if you got 3 kills, any 3 kills, like with those 3 shots, you get an extra 4th shot, and it insta-killed anyone, body shot or anything.
It was like
and the explosion was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
never made this sick sound.
Good old Xbox, thank you. 2 years. 2 years without those weapons.
You know, who knows? Xbox might have a exclusive agreement with Anthem. So you know. But I'm sure at that point, are we going to be on PC?
Apply to PC.
We're going to be on PC though at that point, right? So we're not going to like that either way.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Phil Spencer, he doesn't like the idea of that. He said we'll only ever do like timed exclusives, so the game just won't be available to other consoles.
Right.
But when we do, they'll have everything, because he didn't like the idea of people having like half of an experience. Like some things are left out.
Because timed exclusives are the kind of new thing, right? That's like the same thing that Bungie's doing now with the PlayStation exclusive.
I think he misspoke.
Phil Spencer is Xbox. So the Xbox CEO said that I don't ever want to do timed exclusive.
Right.
Just like full game exclusives for a year.
Right. So, but
okay.
But yeah,
so rather the other system doesn't have it, then we have extra stuff.
Right.
Yeah, or just we'll have it for a year, like the full game. And then they'll get the full game a year later with everything else. So.
And he said he specifically referenced Destiny. Said like, I play Destiny. It sucks. Sucks that I have to deal with this shit. Basically.
Yeah. He wasn't going to. He's like, I shouldn't say it. I don't play. I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yeah.
He's so fed up with it.
That's all I have. You want to move on to questions?
I did have. What? Oh, you go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just gonna open up in the thing.
You guys.
I had one more like comment that I'm kind of still like peeved about, is that the best hand cannon will still be a 1 headshot kill, and that's still really annoying to me.
The best hand cannon will still be a 1 headshot kill. What do you mean?
Well, yeah. So generally speaking, people are running around with the like Better Devils type.
Yeah.
Some people on PC are running with the faster one, but it's still 1 or 2 headshots, I think.
2.
Like if you're 2 with the Dire Promise.
Well,
and to me, like
both of those archetypes, 140 and 150, take 2 headshots, 2 body shots to 4 tap.
Well, depending on armor, Better Devils can do with 1 headshot, and I think it's like pretty high up there. I think it's.
I mean,
like
with
5 or 6.
with up to 10 resilience, you can. It's 2 headshots, 2 body shots with either of those archetypes. Which makes
I'm almost positive you can kill people with the Better Devils with 1 headshot. Like 99%.
Well,
positive.
yeah, if they have like no resilience, but I'm saying if they have 10 resilience, it's 2 headshots, 2 body shots, and like most of the stats.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Most of the stats in between. So it's weird that there's no difference between those archetypes because, it's just Dire Promise's faster time to kill technically, not by much, just slightly, but
yeah. But I just don't.
But doesn't that make sense from a gun perspective? Like if you use the high impact, you're gonna get a higher amount, but it's still gonna be right around the same time to kill.
Well, don't you think it should be probably you need 3 headshots with the 1 below or something?
That's what I think. Just in general, because
they are increasing. They're increasing the precision modifier though, right? So we'll see how that affects it.
For the the highest fire rate that nobody uses anyway.
Oh right.
So,
yeah. You're right.
But it's just like, why would you use other types of guns if you could just use a hand cannon?
Well,
Like for the most part. Other like if you're long range, you have a pulse rifle or whatever. But anywhere between that mid to short,
Yeah.
like almost no reason to use it because you only need to land 4 shots, which isn't that much, and only like 2 of them have to be a headshot.
To be fair, it's a lot easier to say that on PC. Even after they buffed the hand cannons, it's still like harder to aim with sticks and 4-shot somebody. It doesn't happen that often on console.
Yeah, but they're getting better accuracy, and the aim assist is actually pretty huge.
Okay.
If you're in the short, like the medium to short range, in its effective range, it has a lot of aim assist.
Especially with autos getting nerfed, you probably will see hand cannons at the top of the meta, I would imagine.
Yeah. My prediction is we'll just see a lot more hand cannons and maybe pulses.
Yeah.
That's my prediction with that.
Yeah. So RDG asks, how do we feel about the hand cannons that are not being used as in reference to PvE, specifically in reference to PvE?
Is he like asking about
how these changes would impact the usability of other weapons?
So he wants to see Dire Promise be usable in PvE. Basically, is that the concept?
Well, I think like he specifically mentioned the annual skate.
Okay. So yeah, there's same archetype, right? That's 150, the annual skate, or 140.
It's the same as Better Devils. I'm almost positive.
Okay, 150 then. Yeah. So I think that I'm not like
140.
opposed. I'm not opposed to it. Oh, so it's Dire Promise then.
The annual skate?
Or no, that's Better Devils. I have them mixed up.
Yeah, Better Devils is 140.
Yeah.
Dire Promise
is 150.
So what I'd say to that is that there's a variant for you if you want to use that weapon. If you want to use the Dire Promise, the old fashioned in PvE is for you. If you want to use, what is it, Annual Skate and Minuet 42, I think, are the same weapon.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah.
They just have perks that are more designed for PvE experience. Like Minuet 42, for example, has Opening Shot, which is improving the accuracy and range of the opening shot, whereas the Annual Skate has Outlaw. Annual Skate is obviously for PvP, but it does have a lot of good benefits for that. And both of them are going to be getting a buff, or no, a decrease in multiplier, right? For their... So it's going to move away from maybe the Annual Skate, and it's going to move towards stuff like Adaptive Frame, which is the old-fashioned, and the Dire Promise are both lightweight and
I think they're all getting PvE buffs, yeah. Increased PvE
but overall, everything's getting a PvE buff.
Yeah.
Increased
I would like to see
multiplier for precision hand cannons, which is the 180, and then accuracy for consoles.
Yeah, so the old-fashioned is a lightweight frame. So that is getting a better, if PvE. I recall, that was, well, everything's getting better PvE, but I think like the multiplier is increasing on that one, right?
Precision.
No, it's just those.
Oh, it's just the precision hand cannons. Yeah. So it's every hand cannon is going to do more damage, except for the Better Devils if you're using it the way that everyone is currently using it right now.
Right.
Yeah. I think if it moves any of them to a one-shot headshot, like that archetype will be better. Because some of them they don't. You need 2 shots, especially in hard mode. But if it can one-shot now, you're way more likely to use that hand cannon.
You mean on like a low-tier enemy or something?
Yeah. So, like a Cabal, just a regular Legionnaire, can you kill those with 1 headshots?
No.
With like a Better Devils? I don't think so.
No, it's two shots no matter what.
Yeah.
On prestige, I mean on normal I think it is. You know, you can do whatever you want on normal, but on prestige it's.
But if the high impact ones can 1 headshot kill those guys, potentially I would use one of those.
The precision?
No, the highest impact ones. So like
110.
110.
Oh, Criminal's Dagger, Eye of the Beast, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Like if those can 1 headshot Legionnaires, I would be more inclined to use those. But
I think they need more ammo, honestly.
Need more ammo and just better stats. Yeah. Why is handling and stability always like super low on those?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's like they're afraid. They're afraid of the skill gap because like if it ends up being a 2-tap, they're just gonna be like, oh, all the good players will be able to actually use this. We can't let them use it. You know, like that's basically.
I don't want none of that.
So Hexblitz asks, question for XO. Why does Reese need carrying in PvE and PvP?
Go on.
Whoa, they're calling you out,
Savage.
Reese.
Savage.
Yeah, that's a savage call out. I'm not. Reese doesn't need carrying in anything that he does if he sets his mind to it.
Yeah, I'll even throw in Reese actually two-manned Callus. Can you say the same, Hex? Have you two-man Callus?
Yeah, Reese. Wow. Reese is two-man Callus, so he doesn't need any carrying in PvE. PvP, he's outspokenly said that he doesn't like it, and the only time he likes it is when he's playing with people that he likes. Well, that he can communicate with and talk with and stuff. Solo queuing isn't his thing.
Emote with.
I don't think solo queuing is like anyone's queues these days.
No, but I mean,
anyone's
like,
thing these days.
I remember when I first played PvP with him.
do it
He's like,
'cause I'm
I
masochistic.
can't believe how much you're playing PvP, and I said, I don't know, it's pretty good. And then he got into the group and he realized that when playing with other people, it's a lot of fun, but playing by yourself is no fun.
Yeah, and especially when you run out of things to do in PvE, it's kind of like, I kind of have to do this. That's how I feel anyway. You have questions?
Another question from RDG says, what do we feel about the overall effectiveness of the layout of what the patch is going to be so far?
So like, how good will it change?
Yeah, what is it going to do? Like, as far as if it, how effective is it going to be? It's hard to say, really. For me, I've always kind of said this, that the Bungie's moving in a solid direction, and if they keep producing solid updates like this, eventually it's going to be like solid update after solid update after solid update, and we're going to look back a year from now and say, this is the game that I want to play, not the game that I'm passionate about or anything like that. It's like when you get online and you think to yourself, what game am I going to play today? It's going to be Destiny, because it provided you the best of experience that you have now because of a year worth of basically amazing updates.
Yeah. I would say I think this is going to change things monumentally. This is going to change how the game feels. I'm not saying it's going to bring people back. I'm not saying it's going to be the Division 1.8 patch that everybody raves about. I am saying, though, that PvP is going to be a completely different experience, and that PvE will probably be a little bit different.
So the Division 1.8, not to cut off Godin's response, but the Division 1.8 response, I would say that the impact of change, the potential impact of change in this patch, is far greater than what you saw in 1.8 and the Division. When I was playing the Division at that time, and
you are not going to see the kind of awesome reception that it got on the internet. I mean, people are literally after
just
that
in numbers,
saying,
like in terms of numbers, you won't see that many people.
You never saw the Division people coming back either. People were still talking about the game, and they were like, oh man, I guess I'll check it out. But like, there's a lot of things in here
that's how I felt about it, but like YouTubers and reviewers and everybody was like, the game is complete. It's so good. It's a perfect game now. That's what people were saying after.
I heard the word perfect thrown around, and I was like, you do realize this is the Division, right?
Yeah.
They're making a sequel.
Yep.
I wouldn't say it was perfect.
It
was the game it should have been when it launched. That's what 1.8 was.
Okay.
You're like, oh, thanks for launching the game.
And now the game is dead because they announced that sequel. That game is dead. I mean, that's what happens. They're not going to keep developing.
But they should have waited till July
to announce.
Yeah, they should have.
So.
E3. They should have waited till E3.
Like, what do they gain by announcing now? Like, nothing.
Announcing
and
E3,
they haven't even put it in a reveal date. They just said, "Yep."
Yeah, they're just like, oh, by the way, we're working on it. We kind of do that, so.
Yeah. The method of how you get people to play the Division is you say, hey, the game's improved. Obviously, we know that. We're going to give you the Game of the Year edition for, 50 or 75% off, like 85% off even. We just want you to play it because we want you to see how awesome it is. And oh, by the way, we have a sequel coming next year.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done.
So we'll give Godin a chance to answer the question now.
Yeah. So the question, in case you weren't aware, what do you think the overall effectiveness of this patch is going to be?
I think it'll be good because I'm actually excited to tell my friends, let's come try Destiny 2 again. Because a lot of my friends are just totally gone. And now I actually have a reason to tell them to come back. Because all that PvE stuff, that's cool, but we're mostly PvP guys. And now I can actually say, like, listen, some good changes are here, and it's kind of what you wanted. So let's have a go at this. So it's a good time. There's a lot of competition with other games. I don't know how many more people will come, but I think it'll be good. I think we'll get more players than at least we have now.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's going to be an influx of people.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that when people actually see the changes, like they left 3 months ago, so they've only read about the small like bits and changes and things like that. And that's the point that I was making about like these small incremental changes, because people leave the game and then they come back to it and then they're like, wow, this actually does feel different. And it's not because like we're playing it every day, we don't see the changes like they would. From my experience playing Destiny, leaving Destiny in year 1, just at the end of December of year 2, January of year 2, I'd never doing the Rise of Iron at all. So I'd never experienced year 3 or even most of year 2. Destiny felt like, when I was coming into Destiny 2, it felt like a completely kind of fresh experience for me. And that's why I kind of had a different expectation than most people when they said, like, coming from full-fledged Destiny and then running into Destiny 2, I totally get why they say it. They're like, this is so different. I don't like this. But for me, it was like I was stepping into an old hat for a little while. And then, I personally had issues with certain things in the game. And
in Destiny
I'm glad
1?
they're addressing this.
Or
I have a
2?
perfect example of
Destiny
that.
2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have a friend who I was so excited that like Destiny 2 was coming to PC because he doesn't play console. And I was like, yo, man, it's going to be great. Like, I've played Destiny 1. I'm telling you, it's awesome. And then we go to play it. And to me, like, I played Destiny 1 and I was kind of like disappointed like everyone else, but still enjoy the game. I still play it and stuff. But he totally loves it. Like, he doesn't find anything wrong with the game. Like, he's just came to Destiny 2 first. And so he's just like, yeah, this game's good. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So
you're like, but wouldn't it be better if you couldn't see the person around the corner? And they're like, no, I don't know that would be better. I don't know that for sure without it.
Well, I've said this a couple times, like the PvP thing, like, yeah, there's problems. But I think my biggest disappointment is with PvE. Like, I really wanted like a deeper RPG side to the game, and that I hope that they can get there eventually someday. I keep seeing things like Gathalion put out a video this week. He's like, I think Destiny can get better, the PvE stuff like will bring people back in eventually. He's like, the PvP is completely dead though. There's no way. There's too many other options, and I completely disagree. I don't want to play Fortnite. Why is everybody trying to make me play Fortnite?
Okay, there's not too many other options that do what Destiny does in PvP. There's really none. There's Call of Duty, which is a completely different experience. There's Halo, which we haven't seen an update in 2 years,
and it's not
so
on
we
PC.
might see one this year. We might see one this year.
And Halo's never going to be on PC.
But there are other options that have certain aspects of Destiny PvP. So like I was saying before, like Siege is a great PvP game, but it's not Destiny. Like it's fundamentally totally different, but it's still a good PvP game. So there are other avenues to play different things. Like Fortnite, still a PvP game, but it's just vastly different. The only thing I could think of that comes close is like Titanfall, which is actually a great game. But that game is also like pretty dead. So
it's like got 2 people playing it.
I know both.
It was Marty, literally one of my friends was streaming it like a week or 2 ago, and I was like, "What is this? A PC version of Titanfall?" He's like, "Yeah, it was on sale for $5." I'm like, $5?
Yeah. Wow. And it's good though, man.
Yeah.
Everyone who plays that game tells you like, yeah, it's a good game. You're like, you should try it out. But people are just like,
I've played it. I played the campaign. The campaign was great. It was only about 5 hours. I enjoyed it a lot, and then I got to PvP, and I was like, I'm not really feeling this. Like the Titanfall 1 experience
having said
was
all
okay.
of that about Destiny in general, though, I do remember how awesome it was in year 1 for Destiny PvP. There's something special about the point system that they used with the headshots and everything. I really like that, and I do miss that. But I understand that they want to go in another direction, and I'm okay with that. And at the end of the day, it's still Destiny that I want to boot up and play tomorrow. You know, because I'm thinking at the end of the day, be like, oh, a beat from a 38-hour stream. You know, what am I going to stream in the next 5 hours when I fall asleep and for 10 minutes and wake back up and stream for the next 48? Well, it's going to be Destiny. There's other games are interesting and other games are cool, but Destiny provides you with the PvE, the PvP, all within its own game that you can do other things other than PvP, other things other than, and you know, it might be a jack of all trades, master of none, but really there's nothing like that right now that's even available.
I did want to point out that it's kind of weird, but having D2 not be the experience that I wanted it to be, like, actually allowed me to play other games, which was kind of fun. Like, I love, like, play games and then you're done with it. Like, those are nice, and then I always come back to Destiny. Like, that's how it works now for me. Like, I'll see this new game, it comes out, oh, awesome. I'll beat it, and then I get back to my Destiny, and it's like, yes, back into it. You know?
Yeah,
it's a good change of pace.
I agree. I do like some of that, and even in Destiny 1 during the lull, you know, I played like a lot of Witcher 3 and stuff like that in between.
Great game.
Yep. But on the flip side of that, I'd say I don't want to burn through content this quick. When there's new content drops, it's just too quick, man. Like, it shouldn't be done in a month, you know?
That's yeah.
That's why for me, a game like a game that tries to do an open-ended, like, open world, something you can play with community, like Monster Hunter World, like you mentioned.
Ooh,
or the one I'm excited for is Sea of Thieves.
I think I'm gonna get it just so I can play with you guys.
Beta right now, by the way.
Well, that's gonna open up. That's gonna open up, you know, a whole nother, you know, sect of the community, because like you've never been able to play with Xbox people on PC, and you'll be able to do that with this game.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to like advertise for the other games, like you said, The Witcher, but you know, I think Destiny is a perfect game to do that with, that you can play for a couple of days in the week and be like, okay, what are we gonna do over the weekend, or what are we gonna do, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that way you don't burn out as quick as it is, and you know, still the community is still talking about the game, and they're still excited about the game. They're just not necessarily playing it, they're playing other things.
So
during the lull periods.
I do have one more question from It's Only Michael. It's kind of a long one. He said,
it's Mike. It's only Michael.
Yeah, that's his name.
You're like, I have one question. It's only Michael.
No, his name is It's Only Michael,
dude.
Yeah. He says, what do you guys think of, instead of waiting on a res timer, instead of having a res time limit where the res is immediately available, but you only have a certain amount of time to res before the chance is gone? I think it fits the new res token changes perfectly. So, like, it would put, like, a stress on you to get the res and, like, kind of force you into a difficult situation, potentially.
Here's the one reason I don't like that, is that if you're in like a 1v2 and you down a guy and the guy gets him up immediately, not only are you down to like back to a 2v1, but he has full health now and you don't.
Right, and you're probably waiting behind cover to be able to challenge him. So
exactly. Yeah, so the time in between is like a buffer zone for you to get like reset the engagement to give it on fair footings, and he still has like, there's an objective to get at, like he has to get that res, so if there's a point of interest there, that's still fine for me.
So it would make the team shotting thing worse, probably, because of people just rolling in groups.
Probably.
Then you just hold square while you're team shooting. Yeah,
I think so. That's probably an issue.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of interesting. You know, I find myself thinking about that, about Bungie's like kind of approach and how they do things, where they took Destiny 2's PvP and they were like, we're not doing Destiny 1 PvP, so we're gonna completely change it, overhaul everything. And we're gonna have new problems, but we're gonna think of the old problems and try to fix, like, because all the old problems that we had in Destiny 1, we had with Destiny 1 PvP are literally gone. We just have new problems that are much worse than the problems that we had.
They said, guys, we're making it competitive, but we're not adding dedicated servers, and we're not giving you ranked playlists. Have a blast.
We heard you wanted ranks, so we gave you an emblem to show off how good you are.
Yeah.
How many kills did you get?
Yeah, that's what matters, really. I mean,
and guys, we gave you these emblem variants that don't mean anything. You know, we could have made it where you get a new variant every time you hit a tier of kills. Like, here's one at 20,000, here's one at 50,000, here's one at 100,000. No, we'll just divide by 3 and give you Warlock, Titan, and.
But now it does, though, right? Like, now it does count.
It counts now, but like, I mean,
before it did.
I mean, I'm already past the threshold. Unless there was higher tiers, like they need to add higher tiers. I mean, 1,000 kills, you can honestly get that in a week.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
Agree to agree.
Yeah, agree.
You got anything else there?
No, unless any other questions pop in at the last second.
I kind of had one question that I kind of want to like.
Okay.
Before. It's like, if you could change, or if you think Bungie could have changed one thing to make the game have better incentives, what would it be? And for me, it's like the random rolls that would increase your reasons to play like tenfold.
For me, I think that the game needed to have more of a grind for the loot. I think loot is given too freely and quickly, and the experience is diluted down because of it. I think that if there was a grind for stuff, like if you're better devils, you had a specific linear path to get there. Like they were like, if you want the better devils, you're gonna have to kill this thing X amount of times, or you know, you're gonna have to finish this really long quest line where you forge together the parts for it. That would be really cool thematically, and it would give people a reason to keep playing. But instead they were like, we're gonna make it RNG, and it's gonna happen really quick. You're gonna get 27 of them, and none of them are gonna be exciting. Have fun. So
PvE has been missing the incentives for a long time. Right now, there's no incentive to do the raid, really, unless you just like doing it, which I do. But unless you don't like doing it, like there's no incentive to get the 335 stuff because the stats don't matter, because you can change them on a whim, and it doesn't mean anything. So random rolls would actually in that realm of PvE would destroy that system. You have to have things that you can. I'm fine with modding, and this is the kind of core argument that you have with like RPGs. An item is an item that has what it has on it, and there's things you can do to it that's like a modified version of it, but you can't like alter the weapon. And but really, you know, I don't think that random rolls would really impact it that much. It would actually make it worse to play. The issue comes down to the incentives, and so a good way to incentivize you to do that would be to use reputation. The easiest way to do it would be reputation with each of the factions that you have, and you know, certain things unlocking and things you want unlocking. Being able to play the Nightfall, each strike individually, like going to the strike location and being locked out, you know, a group finder.
A dungeon finder,
things like that. I mean, but if I was to pick one thing, I would say the vendors need to be improved with better loot.
The gunsmith needs to sell guns.
I love the idea.
Gunsmith needs to sell guns. That's number one. Gunsmith needs to sell guns.
But I love that idea of like unlocking through reputation. Like you can now get this gun. Like that is definitely what it needs. For the random roll thing, I think it's more of a personal thing, where it's just like I don't like the idea of chasing mods as much because it's just not as exciting or immediate. Like you don't see your mod in your hand. You see the gun. So it's just
but in the case of The Witcher, you have your weapon and you have runes that you can attach to your weapons, right? So you have certain runes that you can do, and I think that you can like unattach them. Like if you're thinking
Yes.
about that as like a mod, but you have like a rare location where you know where you can get this, or it has a chance to drop off of that, that would be really interesting. Like you could get an exotic mod or something like that from a specific boss in a specific nightfall that you have a random chance at getting.
I'll be honest though, those runes I never farmed in The Witcher. I just happened to get them,
but
you know, and it's a weird thing too, because like there's something later in the game called enchanting, where you can take up the rune slots with like 3 rune slots with an enchantment, and you're like, oh, this must be better, but apparently it's not better. So don't waste your time with that.
The thing that I would like is to have both though, right? So I'll give Diablo 3 as the example. I don't know if you guys played it, but you get these legendaries that have like an effect that changes a specific skill, and it's always that. It always has like 2 or 3 stats these are always the stats it gets. The amount of that stat that it gets can change depending on the role. So I don't know, in Destiny it would be like, you know, instead of +10 stability, it might be like plus 12, or it'll have like range +5 instead of 6 or something like that. But then you also have the mod system that can change other stats as well. So I don't see why they couldn't do both, but I just think like right now, if I could change one thing that would like make me want to play more, it would be random rolls to an extent. Like maybe some guns that don't need it, like especially in the raids and stuff.
I think for the PvP side of it, I think we need to see more synergistic combinations of exotics and roles. So like if you take one tree and you take this exotic, it's going to interact with it differently than another exotic would, but in different ways. So it would be like a play style difference. So you would be playing the game in another way, so that you would get more life out of the PvP experience on the PvP side.
So
are you saying as a perk or the exotic you want to do that?
So like there being a synergy between the spec and the exotic that you're doing.
Okay.
Not just based on, so like this is not just a Dawnbreaker thing. This also has benefits for the other ones, but they have different synergies for different specs. If you decide to use the top tree, it's different. If you decide to use the bottom tree, it's also different.
Okay, like an A or B thing.
So
like,
right.
If you have this, it does A. But this,
so like it doesn't matter what you do. It's your play style that dictates what exotics you're using, not what's best in slot, essentially.
on the topic of random rolls, I just want to say, like, I think random rolls would be better than the system we have now, but I don't think it's ideal. The problem with the random rolls is no matter how much you play, there's no clear path to what you want. So like, for example, I played a ton of Destiny 1, 2,500 hours of Destiny 1. I never got a good roll on an IS Luna, not one. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. You know, it keeps you playing, but like, it's not a real grind. It's just, it's too random. That's why I say that there should be long, time-consuming, and difficult quests to get what you want in the game. I think that would be better. And I don't know, if you want to make the rolls random, I think that's just basically extending the grind through an artificial way instead of just doing it the right way.
It was in the framework of just like you can change one thing. Like,
right. Yeah, you're right.
I think that would be the thing. But if I were to put random rolls in like my ideal scenario, it would be like you get random rolls, but also you can use materials to actually craft the one you want.
Okay.
So you say like this, you want this one for the barrel, and this barrel has this perk.
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
I would completely be okay with that.
Yeah.
One of the problems in World of Warcraft, which they're addressing right now, and I know it's a completely different game, but it's not really a completely different game if you look at it from the PvE side. Is Titan Forging and War Forging. So to explain the concept a little bit, War Forging and Titan Forging, depending upon the difficulty that you go into, it's LFR, which is looking for raid, normal, heroic, and mythic. It has a base item level or power level, if you will, of item that could drop. It has a maximum power level, which it could War Forge or Titan Forge up to, which means you will never have the best in slot, because the best in slot is a 985 version of this item, and you get a base of 960 in this raid. So you could get a 985, so you're always chasing that constant like uphill battle of never getting the best in slot, and you never will, because it's a random chance. And so they're addressing it in the next expansion, where they're doing a bunch of other things that, you know, they've said that they understand it's a problem, and it's one of the biggest problems in World of Warcraft, because there's not that, like you said, a way to get it elsewhere. If there was a way for me to get that piece to what I want it to be, that would completely change random rolls.
Yeah, but
which is how I don't know, I envisioned it, but anyway.
I think though, like that's fine doing it that way, but the only problem is that eventually, like, everyone's going to want the same roll because there will be an ideal roll for each type of weapon.
Yeah.
So,
but that already exists.
But so instead, with the purposeful designs of set rolls, they can leave weapons having weaknesses. You know, they could be good at one thing but weak at another thing, as opposed to just using the perks to manipulate the weapon to be perfect in every scenario.
Yeah, but then you could just make it so that certain barrels have like a certain cost. Like
that would make sense.
You know, like this gives 10 range, but it has like -2 whatever.
Okay.
But yeah,
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. You have to use that. You have to use that at the detriment of another stat.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, well, your handling is going to be crap, but you know what? Your range is fantastic.
Yeah.
Which is like, why would I want range with not handling like stuff?
Your reload is slow, but you have very far range. It's like, yeah, that's fair.
Well, they kind of already do that with certain, like the archetypes, the 110 archetypes already kind of have that built, like baked into it. Like the reload speed is really slow, and the fire speed is really slow, but that impact is all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, it would be enjoyable to just make new guns in general, and just like new sets of guns, like new sets of perks and stuff, and kind of have some variety and control, because right now they all kind of feel kind of bland. I don't know.
They need to find a way to make you not feel like you're just dismantling the game, because
oh my god, yeah,
when you pick up a blue and a purple, you're literally dismantling everything you pick up.
Yeah,
if you need to find a way.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like if you have every gun, you lose nothing in the game by dismantling everything. So even Masterworks, you dismantle it, you get Masterwork cores. So literally everything you pick up, you dismantle.
If you don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't have that, and I'm going to put this in my vault that doesn't have any space.
Exactly.
Luke Smith is still working on a way to make your 7th Better Devils feel exciting. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's Luke Smith's promise.
Yeah.
Right. Just give it me. Also want to say, like, just offhand, it's kind of sad to know that as soon as like Destiny 2 is out, like the main team is kind of gone. Like,
well, they're working on Destiny 3.
Yeah, and they're stuck in this contract.
Isn't that going to be a problem? That's going to be a problem. That's is a problem.
Until they're done, until they're done the contract. But it kind of sucks. Yeah, but it kind of sucks just knowing
franchise will be dead by then. You know, like
yeah,
no,
totally.
like there's
no way. Who are they going to go with
way.
after Activision though? It's not like they have their money to. It's not like they have money to fund it themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Well, who knows, right? Like, I don't know.
Maybe back to Microsoft.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
Microsoft, and we never played on PC.
Yeah, Phil Spencer does want to pick up new games, so
that really didn't make a difference. But there's a lot of people on PlayStation that they would lose, like hardcore lose, if they did that. Which
yeah,
they're
that's
not going to do.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else?
Any other questions, guys? I don't see any. They're talking about the raid right now.
Oh, okay. I do have one last comment.
Okay.
Just like a super huge thank you to you guys for being so welcoming, honestly. Just coming in your streams, like, it's great. Coming in like I'm part of the family. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
You slipped in, and it wasn't even like you were just like, hey, I can do this thing, and
I just give my classic what up.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's been great. So
awesome. Well, I guess we'll do the sign-offs. If anybody has questions after that, we can still answer them and just do them after. But we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes almost now, so we can probably end it here. All right, I'm Wrecked. You can find me on Twitter at Reckedum, RECKEDUM. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RECKED_UM.
I'm Godin Gaming. It might be easier to just say God in Gaming on Twitch. Yeah, exactly that. And Twitter is the same thing. So
yeah, I'm Exo Fury. I am Exo Fury on Twitter, and I'm Exo Fury on Twitch.
Sweet. Bye, guys.
That didn't make any sense, but
yeah, with an I.
Yes, with an I. Exo Fury with an I.
Yeah.
with an I.
All right, ciao.
Bye.
Mhm.